Okay, so welcome to our... I'm just trying to get cameras to actually point at me. Welcome to our Star Wars game. We are up to session number 80, or Season 6, Episode 8. It is day 2 of the siege of Elrood Sector Command. So they're currently doing the black ice, which means I'll have to grab the books in a moment because I've forgotten to do so far. And currently today playing, we have Ariadna at the table.
I don't know, you and messing with my method acting. I am actually Thane True Striker, Talon of the Clan. Also known as the I'm not gonna... The Starwing Clan? Let's go with that. Which is actually a Star Dragon. So Miss Dragon Crazy is very happy about that. I am trying to lead our intrepid group of Mandalorians and Garm. And our coordinated Gungan, who's not here today, as we become not necessarily Rebel Alliance, but definitely Empire quarters.
Technically there is no Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
Because they haven't made an alliance yet.
But we technically help rebels.
Yes.
As they are thwarting, bringing down, harrying the Imperials and the Imperial group, mostly because we hate them, not just because they put us in jail for a year, just for the fact that as Rangers employed by the Empire, they decided that rather than just tell us to do a U-turn and turn away when we went into a sector to bring them prisoners, they decided that they'd just imprison everybody on the ship, because that's what you do with your employees when they stumble into the wrong section.
Well, different branches have no sense of humour, especially the military.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's kind of like walking into DSD with a phone. I shouldn't say that, probably. Anyway, I am going to go make coffees.
Next at the table we have is Peter.
Greetings. I'm playing Sergeant Garm Von Jewel, Human Quartermaster of the Rebels, not yet Alliance.
Yep. Getting there, but not quite there. The fuel ship will definitely help if you can keep it.
If we can keep it. Yes, I have great hopes that we will be able to maintain custody of this valuable resource.
Well, you have worked out a way to shave off roughly 2 hours time on the evacuation with every round trip.
Yep.
By bringing people up to the spaceship instead of having the spaceship land on the planet. So that is a big difference.
The black ice is being used as a transport station.
Staging round?
Yep, that is correct.
So, effectively, the expectation is that at some point the black ice will be boarded, but hopefully we'll be able to get moving before that occurs.
And you've gotten a few life support systems installed on there to make it last as a staging ground.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of reasonably armed people to assist us in the defence of the Black Ice.
Online today we have Mark. Who may or may not be available. Who is
I've
currently
got to do the second bit, and 2 minutes on. So I'll start again. I'm not prepared. Hi, I'm playing Mark. I'm playing Ash Scale, famous fire pilot, generally nice guy, and has a reputation with big guns. I'm here to save the day as per usual.
I'm sure he has all those guns.
Yes. You got 1 big gun and 2 other big guns. That's right.
Unfortunately, your big gun isn't here.
That's where he's very upset that he got to shoot down a few planes last session, so he's quite content.
Well, technically, it was on the rebel base, so you do have your big gun back as well as your armor. So, also online today we have Ross.
Yes, I play Carlos, the wonderful enforcer, gadgeteer, assassin, droid tech, and cyber tech. Also, the medic of the group, and is now considering on should I uplift Ragnarok and put a cyber brain on him?
Well, you could cut your cat up and make it less willful.
Yeah, that's the problem. I want him to be willful. But I also want him to be knowledgeable in that too.
And hackable.
True. Yeah, he can hack into anything.
And yes, with the droid brain, I'm sure he can even talk at you.
Yeah. And I've also got a small following of pit droids, which are not currently with me due to the fact they wouldn't fit into the boarding pod.
And you left most of them behind on the station in Elrood.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
bringing everything with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we travelled light this time.
Okay, so in the storyline, you are doing an adventure called Black Ice, where your job was to steal a super carrier with 1 billion units of fuel on it. And 1 billion units will go quite a long way to help the fledgling different rebel cells to survive, as they are all running their own war at the moment, making what they can out of what they have. And you managed to find one that actually had X-wings as well as Y-wings and some A-wings. So they are or were fairly well equipped. But they threw everything they had into this one mission to get the fuel carrier. Unfortunately for them, the fuel carrier, when it dropped into Sector HQ, told the Empire where it was. And the only way to stop it telling the Empire where it is to not use it anymore. Which means the Empire knows where it was left. You can't quite rip out the engine and put a new one in. Because the hyperdrive of them is the core of the ship. And it was designed in such a way that ripping it out and replacing it would cost far more than it was worth trying to do. You can try to modify it in some sort of way, but then you'd have to know how to get it back working again, because it may just completely shut down. On the first day of the Empire knowing where the HQ is, they have managed to evacuate about 600 people from the base, sending the youngest, the eldest, and the infirm all on the first ships. because hey, you don't really want to have those who can't fight back being the last ones to leave. And the sector command are refusing to go until the last moment. They want to get everyone else out first. So the Black Ice has also been kept in waiting because if it leaves, that's the last ship leaving, no one else will come back. They can't afford to refuel unless they dock at the Black Ice at this point. So the Black Ice has been acting not only as the staging area, but as the refueling depot for all the ships coming and going. Okay, so last session you ended up facing off against a couple of TIE fighters and a couple of interceptors. And you managed to shut them down at the cost of one of your A-Wings, which hasn't been repaired yet. And that would be bringing us up to day 2 of the siege. As I'm looking for where it got up to in the storyline. Okay, so yes, they actually had this one set up that you could do an entire battlefield map using their Star Warriors rule set. So they actually had a space miniature rule set to play this with. And that would have had them probably spending an entire session just moving little pieces around on a board.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can sort of see why we sort of skipped that part and went to the, well, there's just a couple of people defending stuff. Okay, so Ross, you've been given 2 options. One, you can either prioritize getting the second A-Wing back up and running, or you can prioritize getting the life support back up to a point where you could literally take more people up onto the Black Ice.
I got it.
Because not everyone can. They can't currently cater for the Corellian Corvette's full load, so they're basically having shuttles coming up with extra people. So they can.
We've only got we've only got one A-Wing, or did we have 2?
You've got 2 A-Wings, but one of them got shot down. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
And if you do get it up and running, it's going to be slower than the other A-Wing due to the damage. You can't replace the engine.
No. Basically, it'd be a death sentence whoever's flying the bloody thing as well.
Yeah.
We'll put that on the back burner and prioritize life support.
Okay.
Another option would be with the hangar bay in here.
Yep.
Would it be possible to put this as a point defense system?
Well, the hangar bay is a point defense system, not as easy.
Or have the A-Wing?
Not really, because it's designed to angle the ship to hit its target. It's not a turret.
Yeah, it wasn't the Y-Wing, because Y-Wing's got a turret on it.
Y-Wing does, except that would only be if it's the 2-seater Y-Wing and not the 1-seater Y-Wing. The 1-seater Y-Wing is designed to have its turret facing one direction and not change during flight.
Yeah.
So you either have it facing behind you.
Only wishful thinking.
It is useful to have 2 people in the Y-Wing if you've got one of those Y-Wings.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the rebels just fly with the single-seater Y-Wings. They normally don't have the capacity to put gunners up. Okay, so when day 2 rocks up, you find that Brum Brum Crash has been pulled away to take flight duty as one of the escort pilots didn't make it back. So he has absconded with one of the X-Wings. So you now have one less X-Wing and one less Y-Wing on hand. It's that one less A-Wing and one less X-Wing. So you may have to field Y-Wings into the battle depending on what's happening.
I thought the Y-Wings were only really good against sort of capital ships and that sort of stuff.
It depends on the pilot.
They are starfighters, so technically they can go up against TIE fighters, but TIE fighters faster, more maneuverable, and can hit for more damage. So when you're comparing the two of them, the TIE fighter and the Y-Wing will probably lose on a one-on-one basis. Though it's who shot first is generally the winner. And if the TIE fighters keep out of the Y-Wing's range before coming in and hitting them, the Y-Wing hasn't got a chance. Okay, so you managed to see Brum Brum crash off in one of the X-Wings.
Yep.
As you see another 600 crew board the Corellian Corvette and the big freighter heading out of system. They have put word out asking for whatever resources they can get, but it's very hard to bring the amount of resources needed to get everyone out safely.
What kind of resources do they need?
Basically, seats.
They need what?
They need seats. If you can't get seats, you can't get them out. But where you're almost halfway through the crew by the second day, at 1,200 out of 3,000, it's just over a third, between a third and half. It's looking like you may make the actual less than a week. But if one of your transports goes, that just balloons it out again. And if it's the Corellian Corvette, you're pretty much sunk. That's why some of you have been dedicated time to boosting the life support capacity. Technically, each end of the ship has capacity to take 100 people easily, and you can probably boost that to about 300 to 500. If you can do that, you have 1,000 people you can take up on the ship. Which means you might be close to doing it with the final, the next day, if you can get it working. So prioritizing life support may actually save you.
Okay. Well, see you off. Brum Brum. Wish you luck. See you later, buddy.
He takes off with a bunch of troopers and people. They're now starting to take troops away because, well, they've got to go sometime. And the only people they're leaving behind are those who tend to the fighters and provide the majority of base security. Nearly all the administrative staff have gone.
Just as a shits and giggles, what's Ruba the Wookiee and Untos Botok up to?
And they got taken out in the first wave, considering they were heavily damaged.
Okay.
They could have stayed with you, but they were told to go.
If they're injured, they're injured.
Basically, the life support was faulty on their end, and they're trying to get them back to treatment. So dunk them in the water and hope they survive.
Yeah. Alright. Well, my set of skills are not for this sort of thing, so I go around, trying to give pats on the back and motivation and that sort of stuff, but
Okay, a lot of people are looking a bit dejected with the sense that they're giving up a place some of them have been for 5 years now. Pretty hard to let go of that. But no one wants a confrontation.
no, you don't want to fight something that battle you can't win. My character explains that, like your Terminator 2, sort of sadness, depression, it's not helpful. Anger is much more useful. Remember this. Hold on to that anger. Use it. That's all.
Okay, so you do pick up quite quickly while you're having this walk around that an alert has gone off. They have picked up the frigate has returned.
Okay.
And it has launched 3 wings.
3 wings.
Yeah. 3 groups of ships.
Hopefully we're able to do something about that.
And getting into the command section, they say that the wings are all splitting up and coming in at different directions. So you could literally stop one, but you might not have the capacity to stop 2 at the same time, let alone all 3.
Are they made up the same?
They each currently have 2 fighters and 2 interceptors. You can pick up the signatures.
Okay.
So that means there's 12 ships incoming.
No trip ships, so that's something.
Unless, of course, they've dropped it on the other side of the planet.
But yeah. So I'm assuming that our ship, the Black Ice, is armed.
It is armed, but it's
Certainly not a battleship.
it's not a battleship, and it doesn't have a lot of anti-starfighter weaponry.
Yeah.
It's designed to be protected by other vessels. It's like a big container ship doesn't have a huge amount of anti-ship weapons on it.
Okay.
You can install it aftermarket, but you wouldn't get it on a legitimate vessel.
And ours has no turrets or anything like that.
It has extra shielding.
Okay, that's something, I guess.
Its shielding is considered probably overspec'd is the best way to put it, because it can literally maneuver its shielding from the containment units to protect the front and back, or add more to the containment units.
Okay.
And the High Command is pointing out that the TIE fighter groups are targeting their outer beacons. So they're sensor systems in the outer reaches of the system.
So they're attempting to blind us.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Not attempting, doing so.
Yeah. There's not much we're going to be able to do about
You think the first wave that came in basically transmitted all the data.
Okay.
And it's projected that each of them will be coming in to the planet at a different angle. Roughly hitting it around the same time.
So what's the game plan from the powers that be?
Well, High Command has issued your team with the only remaining starfighters.
Okay.
And you have Kirk James and Richard Redshirt waiting in the wings to support. Just going to turn off the aircon. Well, I wrote down the names of them last session. I can try one.
Feel free to have many more.
Probably can't have too much sugar.
Yeah, I know. I'm not supposed to do the same. But too much. Yes, please have as many as you want.
Okay, so I believe I gave you an extra Y wing. Yeah, 3 Y wings. 3 X wings and an A wing.
And we have pilots for them.
You do have pilots for them, but most of these pilots aren't their top pilots. And a majority of the time the pilots are flying the shuttles getting people up and down. So they're very good transport pilots. So what does Ash recommend for as the current experienced pilot?
Ash has some concerns. He's glad that Brum was left because Brum was taking all the glory as usual. So in a nice way, I do miss Brum, but in a way that I'd like to get one up on him, I think. But so we've got 3 groups of TIE fighters coming in. I've got myself and possibly a couple of crew. What is the most important sensor at the moment? Is there all over the place? Are they? Or
The most important sensor would be the moon sensor that's geostationed over the base.
Well, I think, and I'll run it past Faru and Garm, and of course Carly didn't say, I can stop one, but can't stop all 3. Do you want to save the moon one and then see if I can, because I'm struggling if I get one set of X-Wings, the other 2 are going to go for me after that.
If they're going for the moon one, isn't that that's our closest sensor, correct?
The moon sensor is the only thing that allows Rebel Command to communicate outside of the planet.
Yeah.
A quick rundown, because I put my hearing aid in, but you're talking so low.
I'm sorry. So they got an alert that the frigate had dropped 3 flights, and they'd spread out, taking out the outer sensors of the system, blinding you to what's actually happening further out. And there are 3 different flights are coming in at different angles to arrive roughly around the same time at the planet.
Right. And what about the satellite, which is our only and main and big communication?
And that's basically the main sensor for the Rebel High Command.
Right. Who's protecting that?
Currently no one.
Alright. I believe we need to protect the satellite. One of the highest priorities.
And you have 7 ships to go up against 12 ships.
Everybody who's got a pilot's license or has some clue about how to fly a ship, getting one.
The issue is you've got one ace pilot and 6 rookies going against at least 6 veteran pilots and 6 regular.
Player to player, may the force be with us. Because as Mandalorians, we really don't know too much about that shit.
It's more of this is the way.
Say it to the rest of them, may the founder be on our side. Because she's a great believer in the founder, having been handed a book by the damn founder, and probably this damn nobody else knows about lightsaber that she doesn't really want. Regardless of that, we have got 7 ships. We've got to protect a satellite, and we've got to try and protect the planet as much as possible. There are probably going to be casualties. We need to protect the satellite as much as possible, and we need to keep them as unaware as possible of shuttling as many people back and forth as we can.
Well, most of your shuttle pilots are also the starfighter pilots. So they basically have to be pulled off shuttle duty to fly the starfighters. So they technically won't be flying at the same time.
Yeah,
but everyone you lose is one less shuttle you can fly.
I will look to QT70
Mm-hmm.
and ask for strategic advice.
Okay, QT says that most likely your probably best bet is to aim to take out 2 groups, because you've got the numbers to take on 2 groups. If you take on 1 group, 2 groups will get through. If you try to take on all 3 groups, not one of your groups will have the numbers.
No one's you're gonna be spread too thin.
And if you only take on 1, you can definitely overwhelm them, but at the cost of 2 groups getting through. If 1 group gets through, they'll most likely take out the base sensor. It does say that all's not lost. You can literally have the black ice act as the relay instead of the moon. So as far as he's concerned, let the moon go.
Okay.
Just make it look like you're trying to save it.
Okay, how long would it take to set up a relay?
It wouldn't take too long. You just have to bring the black ice down to lower orbit.
Okay.
Well, that also make it quicker for shuttling as well.
It will.
Is the black ice capable of being shifted into lower orbit while it's still currently resetting?
Not as easily, no.
Is the engineer capable of doing that?
He is working on it.
Okay, right. So I gather, and I just get you guys to confirm. Sorry, my brain is scattered. Usually scattered on Tuesdays, unfortunately, because I get a lot of injections, and today I got a lot more, and he stuck them right at the top of my head, which is not my favourite place to get them. Yeah, up here. Yeah, not a good place to get needles. Sorry, I digress. According to QT70, we feign concern about the moon by going for 2 of the groups that are coming for us. And if we can take them out, good for us. And what about the 3rd group?
3rd group's going to get through and attack the satellite, which is why he said.
Yeah. Okay.
If you only went for 1, they would definitely take the satellite easily.
Okay.
If you went for 2, it's going to be a hard fight, but odds are they would be saying you're throwing your best at them.
Okay. And in terms of pilots, which I think Ash or Khalid or both pointed out, one decent one and 6 rookies. We're just going to have to pray to the founder and curse Ferric when things go wrong, I presume.
There's a good chance every pilot you send out won't be coming back.
Alright, on that case, is it worthwhile? putting all those pilots there. In these pilots, are we counting me, who has a pilot's license? I'm prepared to get him one instead of a more valuable pilot. And anyone else who's in our
we will be better at flying transports because they're actually a bit more skilled than we are.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
They have had some training in the fighters,
Right.
but like you, they haven't really gone into battle that much. They were basically brought in because of their flying of the bigger ships, and they've been using the shuttles, and they don't want to take the shuttles out because they're more of a target for the TIE fighters.
What I'm trying to figure out is, in terms of losing or risking lives, which lives are higher priority to save? Do we save the pilots, or by not putting them in the highly deadly situation and putting ourselves there? Or do we send the pilots out and we'll take over from the pilots when we lose some?
Well, you could literally put them in the shuttles instead, and send shuttles out. You can have 3 shuttles and the A-wing.
And the
Or
shuttles would be...
shuttles have heavier armor, a lot more firepower.
Okay. So that would be...
Like every shuttle you lose is a major blow.
Okay. So we got 7 ships.
There's 8 shuttles all up, but you don't have the people to take more than 3 into combat.
What about we split the difference and maybe take 2 shuttles and then fill as many of the other ships as we can with able-bodied pilots? Which means we won't fill all of the ships, but it should still be enough.
No, if you wouldn't take the Y-wings then, because they would be the least serviceable, and you'd have 2 of these.
2 of these. So this would be Ash.
Yep, it's the fastest ship.
This would be Pilot 1, Pilot 2, Pilot 3, Pilot 4, Pilot 5.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was prepared to fly one of these...
You could technically get one of those, which you'd be better at than the... you could get someone else to do the gunnery while you're flying.
Okay.
Or you could take the gunnery while they're flying.
I've got good gunnery. And I also have the F word. Which I'm not intending to use, but might turn out to be helpful. Considering how many dark side points are sitting on that table, it's not a good chance. What do you guys think of that?
Well, if the shuttles are actually a lot better than the Y-wings, that's a go.
They're heavier armoured, so they'll take a few more shots. Because if you recall, last session in the Y-wing,
A-wing.
A-wing, Ash's ship was
Taken out in the
decommissioned
one shot.
at the first shot.
Yeah, the A-wing's a glass cannon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ross, all starfighters are glass cannons. A good solid hit will take out most starfighters.
So,
Oh, that's right. Plus, you also got attacked by, what was it, 3?
He got attacked by a two groups of fighters, so
Yeah.
2 TIE fighters and 2 interceptors. As he took the lead, they basically came in and had both flights had a shot at him. Most Imperial ships will fly in pairs because that is the way they're trained.
is it ranged heavy?
Gunnery.
I'm about the same. Oh no, my ranged heavy is so much more. Okay, so it's gunnery. I've got 1 rank. I'll probably upgrade to 2 yellow. That's not too bad. My piloting's not horrible. but they're all based on agility, which is really low for me. But I'm happy to take guns in one of the shuttles.
What was that?
Sorry?
What was that?
So I'm going to go in one of the shuttles and I'm going to do guns.
I think he thought Garm instead of guns.
I was like, what?
I'm going to take Garm in one of the shuttles.
This is one of the few times where I'm not looking at you.
Awesome. That's great. Love it.
And Garm has been given tactical command of the Black Ice.
This is clearly at a time where this is my job, not yours. And I'm not expecting you to come with me either. And I'll reassure you with a solid pat on your shoulder that almost puts you on your knees, that says, no, you're good. You're good. So Ash is in the A-Wing. Carla, do you want to take a shuttle or a thing? Do you want to be in... Do you want to...
Flying is my least good skill.
Okay, so do you want to do gunnery in one of the shuttles?
Gunnery is my even worse.
Okay, so do you want to stay at home?
I'm better in engineering or beating the crap out of close combat.
Well, which means you may be needed to keep the shuttle flying.
Yeah.
So do you want to go on a shuttle where?
I could actually act as engineer on the shuttle.
You could be... you said piloting's just as bad as... thing.
I am trained in piloting. I don't think I'm actually trained in gunnery.
Okay, so you could be a pilot where we had a presumably NPC trained gunner.
I'm rolling 2 dice, and one of them is yellow.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm exactly the same, but we don't got a lot of choices here.
In that case, then you have actual training in using gunnery. So a yellow dice means you were trained.
Yeah.
No, I don't have gunnery.
No,
You
he
don't
doesn't
have
have
gunnery?
gunnery, saying pilot.
I'm talking about pilot.
In which case, you're a trained pilot.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's up to date, that sheet. Check.
Okay, let's see. Piloting. 1 and 1, that is correct. Gunnery, 1 and 1. That is all correct.
Yep. That's all I want to check. Yeah, so I'm outside of having a gunnery 1-on-1, I'm staying on piloting, but I think that's probably the best strategy. Does anyone have better ideas? Do they want to go back to the previous idea before I came out of the kitchen and said I couldn't hear anything, what the heck's going on?
I don't know we had a previous idea.
I don't think.
Well, the idea was whether or not they risk the transports that are getting people off planet, or they use the Y-wings. Because the Y-wings are more sitting ducks in space.
I think risking the transports is not my favourite call.
You could literally pull all 8 transports out and put them into service.
Since we can't transport passengers until we get rid of these guys,
Yep.
if we had all of them out, do we have better odds of taking out all 3 groups? And I'm not talking about saving the satellite. My goal is just to get rid of the threat. You're looking for more shuttles?
I'm sure I have quite a few more shuttles floating
You
around.
probably do.
Oh, just not always easy to
You
show.
also have like 20 cases of miniatures, of which 11 are probably Star Wars.
11 cases.
But not many of them that have starships in it. Because
6 just there, on that shelf there, plus 2 more there. Then he's got
One
1,
up
2,
there.
3, 4, 5, 6 more there.
So I can drop 5 on the table for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he started collecting these in like 2002. Was when I first started seeing them come into their house. Until then, he was incredibly good at hiding them because I didn't live with him. and then these had come in those booster packs, and I'm like, you can't do this. This is too expensive. And he's like, help me open them. I'm like, this is like Christmas. Let's keep doing this. Because you didn't know what was in them, so it was just like setting up a Christmas tree. Really easy to get addicted to that. That's why when people get into those adorables and things like that, no judgment here. I just have a big, repetitive phrase that I say whenever I walk in next to them is, you're not allowed to go there, you're not allowed to buy them. Because once you start, you won't stop.
I was very interested in the 40k stuff.
Oh,
The
God.
price was just insane.
Okay, so there you've now got 8 transports. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I put 9 down.
That's
Take that
fine.
one out.
GM miscounted, we've got 9.
You got 8.
Oh, dang, Ferric. What does that mean? Does anyone know?
That's a swear word.
Yeah, I know.
So you can send 3 transports up against 2 different groups and 2 versus the other with the A-Wing. And you'd have a fairly good firepower.
Oh, so considering this suggestion's coming kind of through QT70 through the GM, I'm going to say yes, 4. Unless anyone in here wants to voice more reasonable objections or options. Alright.
So if that is your group of ships, you technically have enough to meet each group coming in.
Alright. I'm going to quickly finish.
But that's basically putting all
I
your
would say no.
that's
Let's not do that.
that's all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
So you're a no?
Yep.
Okay. Alternate option?
You have time. What would you prefer to do?
I reckon we should stay with the us attacking 2 groups, with the third group being something that we might mop up, assuming we get to kill off the other 2. And we just split our forces between those 2 groups. Because we need numerical superiority, since we don't have technological superiority. If you know
Well,
what I mean.
you would have with the freighters you would have more capacity, as in the freighters have bigger shields, bigger hull, take more shots to get taken out.
Maneuverability sucks.
Yep, maneuverability does suck.
So
That's why I probably would suggest, if you're going to do that one, is have like each one assigned to a couple of the fighters.
Alright. What I'm thinking about from here, and I'm happy to go back to the previous strategy. I'm very much a democratic leader, both as a player and as a character. But what I'm thinking is, if these guys get through and they take out the satellite and they start attacking the planet, we've got bucklinks and no chance of getting people out. Better stick all our eggs in one basket, take them all out, and then try and make a mass rush to get everyone going.
If they attack the planet, that's pretty pointless.
Is it?
Pretty much.
Okay.
'Cause they're underground.
Talk me through it. Are they underground?
Yeah, the buildings are all underground.
Right.
The hangars are all hidden.
Right.
They would have to do a big scanning run, and the TIE fighters and interceptors do not have bombs on them.
Okay. Well, this
So,
is information I did not know.
from-
I'm not a space person.
Yeah, from a technical perspective, your threat is the communication between the surface and the black ice.
Okay.
If you stop them from destroying it, they will then have to throw more at you to take it out.
In which case, despite the temptation from the GM on this gun, we just put 3 shuttles at most, and the little ships, the starfighters. Or are you wanting to go back to the original plan where there's no shuttles on board and
If
it's
we-
just
If we split our forces into,
Yep.
It gives us at least numerical superiority,
Yep.
even if it is only minor,
Okay, I see.
against
Yep.
each of the 2 groups.
I see.
And we need it because, again,
Oh,
the
look, Han
shuttles-
Solo's joined us. We're going to win.
And technically, you could stick in the way you could put the wirings in the service. You wouldn't have the best people there, but you would have more ships than they have.
Yeah, that makes sense. More ships, more shots, more chances of hitting people.
And the A-Wing can simply go between them, or the A-Wing can distract the third group if he really wanted to.
Yeah, and he's our best pilot, so yeah, better do that. Sorry it took so long. But
No, it's basically how do you want to spend your resources?
yeah, are you
Because-
happy with this expenditure?
Well, I'm not happy about it, but I think that would be our best bet.
And a starfighter pilot on either side could be the difference between winning and losing.
The
And I
last
think
one.
I think we're still going to take fairly significant losses.
And if you had Brum Brum Crash here as well as Ash, you would have two aces.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate we don't have.
He got called away to make up for a lost X-Wing that was helping the transports get away.
I'm not happy about the risk either. And to be honest, there's a strong temptation in me to drop a few of those shuttles. Just to reserve them on the off chance. But at the same time, you're right, you need the numerical superiority. We are looking at TIE fighters, in particular the older style TIE fighters, much more vulnerable and fragile. And in terms of hitting ships in the air, the shuttles have more chance.
Let's just say that there was a second one here as well. So you've got
Even numbers?
fairly even numbers.
You've been awfully nice to us, why?
Because bad things happen soon.
Or is it because you want to play with your miniatures and get them out?
Well, you do what you have to do.
What about you guys? Carlin and Ash?
Well, like I stated, if you either have the transports, we also they'll probably just prove fire support while the fighters will more draw fire.
Mm. Ash? Because I am not a
Tactical.
strategic person, especially when it comes to space fights. Is there damn it, I'm going to use it already. Is there like an intelligence or intuition or some kind of role?
Okay,
that
I'm
might
just going to
tell
look
me
up
this
what's
is a
the...
very bad idea, or
Let me have a check. I might be able to. What can I do?
Isn't it
I've got
like
warfare.
right?
Would warfare help at all, Martin? Or?
Warfare would help a little bit. So, to give you a perspective, the shuttles should stop a lot of the damage coming through.
Yeah.
As they literally stop 4 points of damage, and the base damage of the TIE fighter is 6. So they're looking at 2 damage as long as they don't roll well on their attack.
Okay.
So they still got a hit, and they can literally put their shields full front as they're coming on at them. And if you've got 4 freighters coming at 2 wings of fighters, they're pretty well defended.
Yep.
Especially if your fighters hang back behind the freighters to provide cover fire and stop something from getting in behind. Your fighters in the front row are the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
If
So
the,
basically, we used.
if the other side had torpedoes, you would stick your fighters out front and basically take out your torpedo ships first.
Yep. Okay. So. Yeah. Ash is having a warfare sneeze attack. Can I roll warfare just to say I want to think about this as a skilled pilot or combat expert?
What is your warfare dice for?
My warfare dice thing is wait for it. 1 yellow, 4 green.
Could I assist in that since I also have that there?
What?
It doesn't fall rank, but we are working together to figure out a strategy.
Well, everyone has warfare. You don't actually have any ranks in it.
Yeah. I've got 1 rank in it, so.
So Thea has no ranks in it. You want to spend one of your force points.
I can't see how many we
You have two.
2. No, I don't want to spend 1. No.
Okay. Now you have 3.
That's fair enough. I knew you'd do that. So, okay.
Okay, so
Oh, God, that's really crap, actually, isn't it?
actually it is quite successful. You do think that with 4 shuttles, each taking on a flight of 4 starfighters, the shuttles themselves should be overwhelming odds. Because you're looking at the shuttles being able to hit more often because they have dedicated gunners.
Yeah, look, I think that's. I explained this to Thay and the team, saying, based on my knowledge of, and I say this is the best way forward. Yes, I don't like using the shuttles, but if that means we can get past these attacks and then we can get people off, it should be okay. So.
Oh, thank you.
Now, what's his coffee?
Okay, so from a perspective, the shuttles and the TIE fighters should be evenly matched. In the TIE fighters are more maneuverable, but the shuttles are more hardy.
Yep.
If they were the same hardiness, then the TIE fighters would win, hands down. One shuttle versus 4 TIE fighters, the shuttle would lose.
That's fair enough.
4 shuttles versus 4 TIE fighters, unless they concentrate on a single shuttle, they shouldn't stand a chance. And the fact that you also have all the fighters together, they would also cause a big problem. So anything that doesn't get taken out by the freighters would then be taken out by the fighters coming in behind.
Yeah.
It's sort of like imagine a group of riot police where you're putting the guys with the shields in front with the heavy armor, while the people with the suppression fire are behind them.
Yeah. Do it like they have a full squad, not just a 2 or 3, but 4. But anyway, we've got what we've got. So
The other option is you could send all the freighters against 2 groups and all the fighters against the 3rd. You have technically more fighters than they're up against, but you're guaranteed to lose fighters in that case.
the concern I've got is if they've got more stuff coming to us. That's what I'm worried about. So
they have no problems throwing away their forces. Everyone you lose is a major loss.
Yes.
And some of the people you have going up into combat here are unskilled.
I do not know if you like shortbread, but if you do, it's a good way to scoop up froth.
Thanks.
Makes a good spoon. So
yeah,
what?
I want to keep that one sensor on if I can, but that means we can, in case we need help all of a sudden, we've got an opportunity to ask for it. But
Thank you.
yeah, we don't have too many options here, honestly. I don't think, but
Nope,
it's
so I think this is probably it.
yeah. Okay, let's do the shuttle fighter thing and see how we go. I suppose.
So if you do delay them enough for your forces to return, you might end up with another 4 X-Wings coming to your aid.
Yeah, I think that's what we need. We need to delay as long as possible to get our stuff sorted. So Okay. Ash using his leadership will, with all the fighters and all the people coming along, try to inspire people if I can. Is that possible, mate? Or?
That is possible.
Um,
So the next question is, are you waiting for them to come to you, or you're taking the battle to them?
If we take the battle to them,
I think we take battle with them. Yeah.
Scanning us. That would be better, right?
And you'll guarantee that the third group will definitely get through. Because you'd be so spread out, you wouldn't be able to return back in time to stop them.
Could we do a little bit of in the middle of both?
I'm just
Like
checking if you...
calculate getting at the furthest distance from us as possible, but also at the most optimum distance to... Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
It does, except you only have one ship capable of keeping up with the interceptors.
Okay.
So if you hit them and they're all the same distance from the target, you will not be able to get back in time to stop the interceptors from making a run.
I guess from that perspective, then I guess we've got to kind of wait for them to get closer.
And as close as they get, you might end up with all three groups converging.
Closer.
Mm.
That's what I mean. Calculate the optimum distance at which to engage them.
Well, we don't want any of them to come through, so we're probably best to wait, I think, personally. But and the longer we give our allies, the sooner they might come as well. So that's my thought, anyway. Can I do some sort of, like, before we go do what we have to do, can I get all the pilots and gunners together and try to inspire them? So yeah, if that helps at all? Or I'm not sure if Star Wars does that kind of thing. So
It does, that's what the leadership skill
I
is.
can do that with leadership. I don't know what your leadership's like, but mine's...
my leadership's good. Trust me.
Oh,
You strive for that.
that's good. then.
I've got 1 yellow, 2 green, 2 blue, but I also have 3 different skills on top of that. So,
Yeah. Do you have any talents that also boost, give them incentives as well?
I've got inspiring leadership. I've got inspiring rhetoric and kill with kindness 2, times 2. So the inspiring leadership, the character made an action to make an average 2 purple leadership check for each success. A number of allies up to your present rating within short distance, add an automatic success to their next skill check. And inspiring rhetoric allows me to gather strain for other people, and kill with kindness times 2 adds that's my blue dice. Yeah, okay, so I can help inspire people to hopefully work better. I'm not sure what you've got, Ariadna. But
So Ariadna has 2 ranks in it and 2 green dice.
2 yellow, 2 green, I think it is.
okay, so I've got 1 yellow, 2 green, 2 blue.
So technically she's more skilled in leadership than you are, but you have the bonuses.
Yeah.
So if she was to help you, she would either grant you an extra yellow or an extra green.
I think we work together as a team
Yeah,
because we're team players.
prefer to do that.
Teamwork makes the dream.
And technically, if you were to assist Thea, you wouldn't provide anything.
Yeah.
Technically, it would be the blue is when you don't provide anything. You just add a blue.
I think that I want to show Thea my change and my attitude of things and my new leadership. So it's a way for me to show how good I can be. So and Thea can just be there just to boost me up if I need it. So.
Thanks.
Okay, so looks like we have Ash doing the inspirational speech on the soapbox. So what sort of way do you inspire people? Or are there any particular words of wisdom you're throwing in? And don't die is not great words of wisdom.
No.
No, I'm thinking about how, as rebels or whatever, we've got rebels and mixed here, don't we? We have rebels and Empire kind of people. So
No, there's just fringe people here who have been pushed out of society and basically have become criminals because they don't like the Empire.
I will bring you one of my brave stories, how I killed many pilots by myself, and I believed in myself and showed that I have courage and and purpose, and I believe that the group of people in front of me can have that same purpose, and 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 that kind of stuff. I'm not good at this in real life, so I'm going to go into that.
Start quoting from the Independence Day with the President's speech.
Yeah. Well, we few, we lucky few.
Yeah, we shall not go alone into the night.
Yeah.
Yes. So I try to show that if I can do it, and I said, but I think you guys can do it, and show that I believe in them, and show trust and faith and whatever else, and saying.
Okay, so it does look as if you have been quite inspiring in the sense of you got a triumph and 2 advantages.
Okay, so I would have, with 2 advantages, I would have spied 2 allies.
Well, you didn't succeed. You got a triumph and 2 advantages.
Oh.
You technically failed the check with 2 advantages and a triumph.
Is this where I see Ash's not quite doing it, and
apparently he's telling them they're going to go alone in the night and forgot the inspiring part of the whole thing.
Alright, so Ash, Thea will wait for an opportunity.
So they will go quietly in the night.
And I'll make it look like, it's a part of the team speech.
The difficulty has increased because the previous speech failed.
No, that's fine. I will turn over a point if we've got one.
You do.
Yep. Yes, absolutely do. And I say...
Can I help?
You can help. What is Gum's bonuses? Because you are the Mr. Speaky.
So do you want me to talk? Or?
No,
Yeah, okay.
So he adds another 2 green dice to the pool.
So I step forward. I'm wearing a
Standing
helmet.
behind it going.
I take off my helmet. And I say, as you know, Mandalorians work as a team. We are a family. We are a clan. You are now a part of our family, our clan. We're going to lay our lives down for you and make sure that you are as protected as you can be. Will you grant us your gifts and skills in piloting and help us hold back this force while we save the lives of our fellow allies and family?
Hoorah!
Rock the, I
Yes.
might start
Hold the line.
I might start up a Queen song.
We will rock you.
We are the champions. I'd like we will rock you. Got a better beat and feel. We are the champions. It's kind of what we're going for, you know.
So like in like Sal,
Yeah.
when the bard's like, and everyone's like,
Yep.
he's like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do realise if you do fail, it means that you were playing another one by start.
Yeah.
You ended up with 2 successes, an advantage, and a triumph. You have actually been quite inspirational. Apparently, we can actually throw in a couple of assistants on top of that from the previous checks. You did get some bonuses, so we'll make that 3 successes instead of 2. So yes, you'll come across as very inspiring, thanks to the lead up of Ash. And Ash sort of stood there going, "That's what I intended to say. Yeah, that was all me."
I'm going to put the credit down to Ash, bringing us in, Garm, backing us up, and it's a team.
You just see Ash smile from ear to ear, pump the sky, do all the stuff, and he thinks that he did it all himself, by the way. Even you helped out, okay? So.
I'm a little bit worried about I'm a little bit worried about the sense of possible delusionment in my teammate. But I'm not going to say anything. I'm fine for him to feel good.
You're high right now. After that, to shoot people down, go with it, okay?
Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to
Okay.
dent that confidence.
So
This is more than one time that that's just kind of like, you know, I've done all of this, and you're kind of like, you gotta be aware of what your teammates contribute to a game.
And from QT7's threat assessment, he does put it down as the closer to the planet you intercept, the least likely you will be bypassed. Because if you send out your freighters, the TIE fighters can outrun them.
Okay. So he's saying try to engage
As close to the planet as possible.
Alright,
You risk the potential of having two flights turn on to one group.
Yep.
But you have enough ships in there to take on two groups quite easily.
Okay. Well, we will follow the advice of QT70 because I do big droid strategy.
So his version is the sending the freighters in a front formation and sending the fighters in behind.
Yep. I think that's great because I think that they're facing very slow, non-maneuverable objects, and then out of their shadows comes the real threat.
And it
I think
also
we
means
said that earlier.
it is what I said earlier.
Great idea.
And it does mean that, say, one of the flights tries to outflank you and come in from behind, you've got the fighters to take them on. And if you take on the two out, the left and right flank, that means no matter which way the middle group turns, you can always come at them from behind from the other group. Because if you then took one side, then everyone would have to turn to face the one, and one group would be completely out of position. So I'm going to quickly duck to the toilet. If you want to figure anything else you wish to add to that, we will see how the space battle goes as you're counting down the hours until the fighters are close enough.
I think most of I don't know that there's too much more to figure out. Most of what we will be doing now is just making sure our suits are refilled with pressured oxygen, so that we end up spaced, because particularly in the case of the starfighters' cases, if their ships end up being destroyed or something, then they've got, if they're not killed, they've at least got breathable air until someone can pick them up. Because I think that's happened in the past, once or twice. We've had someone end up outside of their ship, and then we've gone by and got them. And then maybe just checking our gear. I'll be refreshing what I need to know about gunnery in the particular shuttles that I'm going to be in. Am I the only one on a shuttle?
There would be 4 people on the shuttle
No, I
with you.
mean out of our clan.
That's completely up to you guys.
Because I think Khaled's agreed, but more in the sense of we'll be able to do engineering and fix things.
And
Well, I also can do the shields and that as well.
So, while you're getting ready for this, you have one of the pilots, who's one of the freighter pilots, offer a suggestion to Garm. He says there is another approach you can take, micro hyperspace jump. Highly dangerous, can literally fry the hyperdrive, but you can get to them in moments on the outer edge of the system and jump back again.
Why do you do this to us? We do all the planning, we finally settle on something, and you're like, here's a plan C.
Do we have enough astromechs to do that?
Well, it doesn't require the astromech because you're not leaving the system.
Are all of the ships capable
Hey,
of...
Martin, I'm going to have to leave. I'm just feeling really, really tired at the moment. I'm falling asleep.
Okay, Mark.
No, sorry, guys, but I do wish you well, and please use my character stats if you need to know, okay, please? Yeah. Sorry, guys.
And so he says that it's something that he's done in pirate raids.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Because basically you jump into a system, you get the Empire to fly all the way out to you with their ships that don't have hyperspace, and then you just leap right past them.
Sounds like a very useful trick.
In this case, you could get them on the edge of the asteroid field, which is about 2 hours out from the planet.
I don't see any extra flaws in this plan outside of the original plan.
Requires a skilled astrogator.
I know I've got 3 ranks in astrogation, so I know I can do at least one group.
And you
Do I
could,
pre-program both groups?
Yeah.
and you could literally take the entire thing as one group and attack one with overwhelming forces.
Do you have any whites left?
There are 2 whites left.
So that'll give me, potentially, I'd start with 3 yellow, 1 green, 1 blue. Potentially give me 4 yellow and a blue.
So theoretically, what would stop us from doing these micro jumps all throughout the system?
It puts a lot of stress on the hyperdrive. So it's like going up to 100 and then trying to come to a dead stop in a very short distance. High speed acceleration, high speed brake. And then trying to do that 3 times in a row. One mistake and that ship may be gone completely.
Yeah, but
What do you think, boss?
I think considering the risks we're already taking, this both increases and minimises them at the same time. If it works,
If it works, you've got the drop on them,
Yep.
and suddenly you have, you could literally drop 16 vehicles on a 4 ships at a time.
yeah, so
And if the worst case you do is you take out 1 flight and return everyone back, so that you've got enough to stop the other 2.
see, I wouldn't have described Thea as a big risk taker prior to the research phase. But after the research phase, she's been taking more and more risks. Because the stakes are being higher and higher. And right now they're pretty high. If this doesn't work, literally the Rebel Alliance could fall apart.
Yep.
So I say, unless I'm going to be outvoted or dragged into a back room and tied up and vetoed, that it's worth giving that a shot.
If we're going to use that tactic, can we tack on an option to that tactic? So, if we jump out, we will have used astrogation to determine where we're going to come out. We appear, the battle occurs. Can we have already done the astrogation for the jump back into the system?
That would be
That's assuming you land in the exact spot you expected. Micro jumps are not that exact.
But if we again, not knowing how it works, but if that's the planet and you micro jump out, you use your astrogation, and you do then using that point as a point of origin, do your calculations from that point back in the system, but you're only looking to go about halfway. I'm thinking of it more as a
The other thing you can do is point it at the planet and just hit the hyperdrive.
Yeah.
You don't have to calculate.
Yeah. We don't.
If you're dead on to the planet, it will pull you out as soon as you hit the gravity well. That's what gravity well does.
And once the fight is over, we don't need to have the drop on anyone on
So-
returning.
anyone who gets out of position and can't join in the battle can literally just point and jump back at the planet, so they're already waiting
Yeah.
and dealing with whatever damage their ship has when it comes back.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think that's a good idea.
And I will suggest that Thea spend some of her XP on intuitive astrogation,
Yep.
because that's where you get to add your force dice to the astrogation roll.
Do I change any numbers on here?
No, you just add white dice.
Okay, so how many white dice?
That would be 3.
3. Morning, even though you can't help it, the loss of Ash and Mark. I need to start sending energy drinks his way. Particularly the one the rheumatologist and the specialist both go tick 2. The orange silver one that I showed you by Rapid.
Yep.
That's 2 specialists. He's looked at it and gone, yep.
Okay. So when they say doing a micro jump, that's basically considered a micro jump in a system. Whereas a normal jump in a well-known thing is one of those dice. So jumping between systems is 1 purple. Trying to micro jump in a system is supposed to be 5. So that's how dangerous it's supposed to be. But most people aren't skilled. So, do you wish to target one side or the other or the center with your plan for this?
I have no strategic knowledge or basis for making this.
QTs would be suggesting one of the flanks, not the center, because that way they can't split up easily.
Yeah, I should have known.
Whereas they might try to split up further if you take out the center only. Okay, so you can choose to spend your white point either on a success, you've got 1 success at the moment, or to give yourself a cancel out one of the threats, because you've got 2 threats and a success with 4 magic points in the pool. That you can also spend a destiny point, story point, to allow you to spend the black points as well.
First of all, what do the threats equate to? Strain or
Strain, generally trying
actual-
trying to get the coordinates safely.
Okay, so I'm kind of happy to take strain. So what were my other options in spending?
So you can use the white to get us extra success, which puts you most likely closer. The threats can also be used instead of strain to make you further away, but in this case, the panic in trying to get it done quickly.
And what was about the thing about using magic?
So you can spend the white point as a base magic point to clear one of the threats or give you an extra success.
Okay.
Or you can spend a story point to pull on the corruption side of magic and give you another 3 points to play with.
And what does that corruption mean?
Meaning that your character will take on corruption.
What kind of corruption? Dark side corruption or just
That
general?
is technically what leads to dark side. Is taking on lots of corruption.
I don't have any corruption yet. Do I?
You haven't been taking it on actively, but you haven't had the chance to use it in this way yet. This is where you're actively using the force now.
If I take on some corruption, I've got better chances of succeeding at
You
this
do?
task.
Yes.
I will take on some corruption.
Okay.
And I will use the extra 3 points to further at success.
So you can basically counteract the 2 threat and give yourself extra success and advantage.
Right. Okay. And How do I record corruption on my sheet?
I do, and I store it in the background.
What if I want to keep track of the fact that I've acquired corruption finally? Do I...
Well, at the end of the session, technically there is a roll
Okay.
every time you gain corruption.
Okay, so I will just make a note that I've gained a corruption?
You'll have taken on 3 points of
3
corruption.
points of corruption.
1 point for each one you take. And when you take it, you take all of them.
Just go to the dark side. What could go wrong?
Well,
What's the badness about being a dark side?
It's less that. Right now, Saya doesn't really understand that this is corruption, but she does understand that there's a lot riding on this, and she doesn't want to fail. She's thinking about her past fails. She's thinking about how she got into this position of leadership with Kayana having made a fail. She don't want to end up being in Kayana's position, having to suffer the humiliations of in the Mandalorian culture of having taken over talent of the clan and then screwed it up. So she's more focused on succeeding. She's not quite worried about the corruption at this point. It's gonna take someone tapping her on the shoulder and going, that's not a good thing. You need to be aware of that, and that will be more part of role-playing storyline than anything. So,
But as a player,
yeah,
just go to the dark side. Makes life so much easier.
I do keep wearing
They have
the,
cookies.
They have cookies.
I do keep wearing the black t-shirts.
They give you chocolate milk. What?
I do keep wearing the black t-shirts. So, taking on 3 points of corruption. What session is this again?
This is session 80.
Alright, that'll...
You know, it's actually very easy to corrupt characters in Star Wars. You just keep offering these options of, hey, you can do this to make this so much better.
Well, I'm hoping the GM
Works that
will
way
at
in
some
D&D as
point
well.
give me the opportunity to learn that corruption is bad, and give me that knowledge. But we'll find that out down the track. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If I end up a Sith and kill you all, that'll be an interesting TPK.
I'm still happy to be friends with the Sith.
You wouldn't become a Sith, you would just become a Dark Force user.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Actually, I've been doing some research. Being a Dark Force user isn't actually entirely bad. It just depends how you become a Dark Force user and how you use the dark side of the Force.
And the thing that generally determines a Sith over another dark side user is their Jedi training.
Of which I have almost 0. Yes.
Okay, so you've managed to split your groups up into 2 flights.
Right.
And going basically towards a group of 2 TIE fighters and 2 interceptors up against 16 ships. So instead of splitting your forces and having what should be overwhelming odds, you've basically gone for the bull rush and complete annihilation of your foe.
Okay.
Because no matter what the Empire does at this stage, all they can do is run.
Hopefully this works out for us and we kill them all.
And if you set up your drops in a useful way, which I'll say you have because of your successes, you can literally have the drop on them and say that you're coming at them from the front and the rear.
So I didn't corrupt myself for nothing.
You didn't corrupt yourself for nothing, no.
That's mostly what I want.
So yes, dropping in is fairly safe for you, as basically if they try to run, they're leaving themselves open from each side. And especially with a wing capable of keeping up with them. The interceptors can't get away, and the X-wings can catch the TIE fighters. So I'm going to say that the first battle was a win on your side. You got them before they reached the asteroid field.
This feels suspiciously far too easy.
If you had have waited, it would not have been easy.
Yeah.
You had 16 vessels against 4, and they counted as 2 groups, not 4 individual fighters. So, because they always fly in pairs.
So in terms of storyline, was Ash technically with us?
Ash would have been with you.
Okay, so
And you would have used the freighters as screens to give your fighters the best chance of taking them out. Because as soon as they try to peel away, the fighters can take them out.
okay, cool.
And they can't head on because they don't have the mass.
So at this point we would return to our duties.
Well, technically you can try to make a jump back, micro jump back, or you can just risk the hyperdrive and pull the lever.
What do you mean by risk the hyperdrive? And wouldn't a micro jump be just as risky or more?
Micro jump, you have more control. If you jump out early, you're basically fine to continue in.
Okay, alright. We'll take the less risky version then. So is that another roll of astrogation on my behalf?
That is. And as you have no points, the GM will upgrade
Yep.
one the other way
I
around.
was going to say, I'll be open to a red die. I'm well used to.
Okay, so you just rolled up 6 points.
So where's a mic when you need someone to Mr. Triumph?
So you actually rolled exceedingly well.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Did you say 6?
6 white, 6 magic points.
6
They were all
ones?
white. Yeah.
Oh, well. Do I undo any of my corruption with that?
It does not, but it does mean that you're more. All the light points you use do come in handy.
Okay.
So you can basically turn that into the equivalent of triumphs on your return.
Okay. And how does that affect things? It just means
You
get
have
damage?
you have a perfect jump back.
So when we return, I'll give congratulations to Khaled and Ash for their roles in helping.
There is still another 3 hours for the other groups to come in.
Okay. Well,
And-
yeah.
3 hours for the fighters to reach the planet. Because they dropped out on the edge of the system,
Right. Okay.
meaning that they were trying to pull you out of formation
Right. Okay.
and or make you get boxed in as they come at you from 3 directions. So the
So when you say fighters, are you talking about
the Imperial fighters.
Imperial
Yeah.
fighters?
Now that you have all 16 vessels still combat capable,
Yeah.
it's you have 2-to-1 odds.
Oh, so we haven't destroyed the.
You destroyed the one, say the right flank,
Okay.
and that leaves them 8 ships incoming
Okay. So why did we jump back then?
because you now had enough ships to easily defend the base, and the longer you held them out, the longer it would probably take for the Empire to send in another group.
So the battle's definitely not over because there's 8.
8 more incoming, but they are literally hours away.
Okay. You said 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours away.
So I gather the strategy would then be to possibly micro jump in again.
Oh no, let them fly for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
Put your feet up, have a drink, relax, maybe doze for a bit, and then go out fresh while they've been behind the controls for 5 hours.
Yeah, but once they're at a point where we are optimum to attack them, we would go back out and see what we can do about
Mhm.
the next 8.
And you can literally create a screen that they would have trouble getting past.
So we jumped, and then you said we took out the right flank.
You took out the right flank.
So if
You've got this center and the left flank still.
okay, so there's 8 left. Okay.
And even if they were to form into a single group, you would still have more overwhelming odds to them.
Okay.
You could try to match toe for toe, but never take on a fair fight with the Empire.
Peter, can you take a photo of the board currently? And Martin, if we've taken out 4 fighters after Peter's taken a photo, can you remove the
And
ones-
show you what it would be looking like
and then
now.
I'll get Peter to take another picture. So. and Mark's going to take 4 out. And then
I'm just going to say you'd have 2 coming in that way, and so you basically have enough to be able to stop those guys and those guys.
Okay, yeah. Alright. I've got an understanding of what's going on there. It's getting a bit warm. Are you okay with the fan?
I'm okay with the fan on. It was just getting very icy underneath it.
Yeah, you can get icy being underneath it.
Okay, so QT does congratulate you on your tactics, and as we don't have the pilots here, we could simply say that that part of it passes with an amazing battle in the background.
Only on aircon for a couple minutes.
And by using the freighters with the heavier armor and shielding your fighters to basically attack the Empire's vehicles, you're basically got shield advantage, armor advantage, and weapon advantage to the point where they can't compete.
Oh, okay. So we're shortcutting to no pilots, fights over.
You will have. They would have to be exceedingly lucky
Mm-hmm.
to take out one of your ships.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm happy with that.
And if one of your ships gets hit, all they have to do is pull back and let the others move in while they repair, and the Empire wouldn't have been able to do much.
I'm happy with that. I guess in a way, why role play fighting when we've got no pilots to fight with? We're better off coming to role playing with the people who are like moving on to a different scene where we've actually got skills we can apply.
Okay, the scenario had assumed that you didn't know what you were doing with fighting.
That's just because we kept asking QT17 what to do. But sometimes I guess that's what role playing is just knowing
And
which
QT
NPC to ask.
QT wouldn't have known how to do the micro jumps because that's not a strategic thing to do.
Yeah, so
That's not something most people would think of.
This is because you're such an approachable,
Whatever.
down to earth person. Well, the pirate felt, the past pirate come now rebel fighter felt comfortable coming to you to tell you that he knew about this tactic. That
It
to
is
use when
guerrilla
he was a
fighting.
pirate.
That is what guerrilla fighting is to do the unexpected, even no matter how stupid or dangerous it is, because if you always fight as expected, you're going to lose.
Yeah, especially against the Empire.
And I promise I'm not casting aspersions on your character by saying that the pirate didn't feel comfortable approaching anyone else, but
Well, but after the battle, I will. I'll give the pirate a big pat on the back.
oh yeah.
And I don't take
Credit?
any credit for the idea. I give it all to him. I'll let his upper guys
But
know.
he does say that unless your astrogator was good enough, it wouldn't have been possible. He does basically say it was his idea, but whoever did the astrogation did a brilliant job.
Yeah. I'll keep
Good job,
quiet.
boss.
He says the reason why the tactic is rarely used is most people fuck it up.
I was going to say, I'm gonna take note of
Or
that.
dank ferret it up.
Yeah, dank ferret. Ferret is the colloquialism.
Okay, not long after the interceptors and TIE fighters are taken out, you hear over the comm Brum Brum Crash returning with the freighters.
So they're going to take out more refugees? How far have they got along in
The-
evacuation? Now?
Of the 3,000 people, they have technically taken just over 1,000.
Okay.
It was
So we're
1,200.
1/3 through it on day 2, which is kind of where we expected. They said it'd be 6 to 7 days to get everybody off.
Though you're a little delayed by using the freighter pilots
Yeah.
to defend, it's going to slow down the
We're going
turnaround.
to have to push to make up time and plan for more Imperials because they've sent 12 this time.
Because you can get 160 up from the planet in an hour.
So they sent 4 the first time. They tripled up to 12, which means they're likely to send about 48, or the equivalent of 48.
Well, that is they've sent 16
No,
from the one ship.
36.
So the one ship that's almost half its complement.
Yeah. So
They're going to have to bring in a bigger ship.
yeah, I'm guessing a bigger ship's going to turn up next time.
It's like needing a bigger boat.
Yeah, Star Destroyer. Why not?
So that said, we'll go to Captain Nose.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Captain
It is Captain.
or Commander?
What Captain will do, I'm sure I can look it up and give you an exact.
And
Major Mers, actually.
Major, yeah. And advise, yes, it's great that we've had success here, but not knowing how to calculate how long it's going to take them to do it, the next thing they send is going to be bigger, badder, and harder to beat back with the resources that we've got. Do they want us to concentrate on continuing their current plan of trying to speed up the evacuation and using the spiral pass fuel train,
The Black Ice.
yeah, as the Black Ice as a staging ground.
They're getting back to getting it back up to fully loaded with people, so they can get the Carillion Corvette and the freighter out of system.
Has there been any response or any leeway of progress in securing help from any other faction?
They put out the call, but we're still. This is the second day from when the call went out.
Yeah, and still nothing.
Not always easy to get people in,
No.
and ships may not be readily available.
Okay, and there's been no. Yeah. So where are they moving these people to?
They haven't been telling anyone, because basically if anyone gets captured who's still behind, at this stage the only people who would know would either be the HQ commander and the actual pilots who are taking them.
So my question is, I don't actually need the location. What I want to know is if we can get one of our people to that location, say Brum Crash or even Ash if he's piloting, whether there's a chance for one of our people to contact part of our networks to see whether or not we can bring in help from our side of things.
I believe you put the call out last session.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought the
They
answer to
They
that
didn't
was
think.
that it
They
wasn't possible.
Yeah. They didn't think it was possible. Just because they didn't think it was possible doesn't mean that you didn't put the call out.
Okay, alright.
Because technically the Empire already knows where you are.
Okay, alright, fair enough.
And it took about 2 days to get here from Elrood.
Yep, yep. A little bit disappointed there's no Mandalorians turned up yet, but understandable. What's that other F word, right?
Use the Force.
There's too many F words here.
Okay, so yes. Day 3 seems to feel like it's very slow. And about halfway through the day, alerts go off. And you get a report that there are space troopers on the satellite.
Space troopers, as in Imperial troopers?
Imperial troopers who are wearing the equivalent of an Iron Man suit, almost invisible to radar.
Okay, are we talking Mandalorian season 2, I think it is, type of things? Are we talking more
Space Trooper.
level odds?
So Space Trooper looked closer to the original Iron Man grey suit in
Right, okay.
Iron Man.
Alright, I'm seeing it. I'm also
And
hearing
so they also
Barry Mason, Ozzy Osbourne.
they sort of look like that.
Okay, cool.
So they're big enough to hold a person, but they're a spaceship.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're a suit of armor you can fly in space that can go toe to toe with the starfighter.
I feel like
Just as not as good as a starfighter.
Alright.
And the report comes in as the sensor communicator basically explodes.
Okay, so take down our communication.
Took them a whole day to do so because they were coming in silently.
So in the meantime, we were working on getting the Black Ice to
Potentially be able to take over.
take over because we knew
They say they're about a day out from getting it into position.
I gather it's probably a good idea for us to go and deal with these troopers, even though they're taking out our communications.
I will say that you had Brum Brum and Ash fly out and deal with them.
Okay.
Because 2 ace pilots versus these guys, not a chance with them.
How, just out of curiosity, and I don't need to deep dive into it, how comparable are their suits to a Mandalorian with their jetpacks and so on?
They are more of a threat,
Okay.
but they're not as defensive.
So a Mandalorian could possibly take them on.
A Mandalorian could go toe to toe with them,
Okay,
yes.
cool. Alright. I'm just curious.
Just that these guys are designed to be able to drop from orbit and go from planet to orbit.
Okay. I won't dive down that rabbit hole any further.
It's like the souped up version of a Mandalorian suit.
Nice.
Okay.
Can we invest in more there?
Okay, so yes, you've currently dealing with most of the communications with Rebel HQ coming through the transport pilots.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I've got a long range scanner, and I'm like, no, I don't. Not on this ship.
And you do have a fairly decent scanner on the Black Ice. It's got 2 big scanners, one at each end.
Yeah, okay. So that will possibly help.
So they basically talk about how the space troopers sneak in.
Okay.
They basically took out the one thing that made coordination easy for you.
Yeah. So we're just gonna have to make do.
By the time they came in, you had already gotten out 1,800 of the 3,000 people.
Yep.
I'm assuming we're using one of the Black Ice's scanners to try to keep an eye on what's going on in the system.
Yeah.
You are. You can detect things coming out of hyperspace. The closer it is to you, the easier it is to pick up.
Yeah.
But this ship is designed to pick up things at a long distance. It's a big ship. They need to know when to turn.
Yeah.
And like every brick, you want to be able to turn as soon as possible. So the rest of day 3 passes uneventfully.
Cool. Losing communications, uneventful. Oh, sorry, buds. I was partially sitting on your tail. You did not do that. Yep, I'm getting up. I'm getting up.
Okay, at day 4, you're looking at potentially being able to get the entirety of the crew up onto the Black Ice.
That's a lovely
Because you've had Khalid spending all his downtime basically retrofitting life support.
I want all the defensive guys on the ship. I want to be running them through drills. So again, if like we did, we punched into the ship at various locations. I want the guys to be able to get there quickly.
Well, they're setting up various detachments so they can cover the entirety of the engine bays, the auxiliary commands, the command.
Yep. It's more like you know, you run a hypothetical. You know, you've got people in this place and they're doing these things. Go and stop them.
Well, they have this huge fuel carrier, and the thing that stops people being able to run life support is lack of fuel. It's not like they have to worry about the excess weight.
True.
So they've been scavenging all of the life support systems from the planet below and bringing it up.
Do you want any watermelon or a cheese and cracker box?
Might go for a cheese and cracker box.
Do you like some watermelon? I have heaps.
I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
A couple of the other of the troopers approach Garm because he's the talkative one, and they do suggest about setting up some booby traps on the base below, make it look occupied.
My assumption, which is probably a very poor thing of me to do, was that the rebels would be dealing with that as the last person lifted off.
Most of them have been concentrating on getting the supplies and people out, caring less about the setting up traps, so no one really got caught up in it.
Okay. Well, the engineer for the Black Ice,
Mm-hmm.
him and whatever other people we can spare, I'll ask him if he could do the same. Potentially the ambush he did with the robots that
The droids?
the droids that clear the ship of those
Minox.
Minox. That was quite well done. So that, along with potential normal booby traps that go boom, that sort of thing.
One of the rebel engineers asked Khalid if he's ever worked on faking life signatures before.
I've seen it done. I haven't done it myself, but I'm happy to do it.
I was going to say, new skill to learn. Sounds good.
He does say he's done it before while to basically trick the Imperials into attacking the wrong target.
And also probably need to get well, since we can't really take the generators with us, probably need to set it as a higher output so they can actually detect that as well. I think we did have a big gun, an ion cannon or some sort.
He says they do have some planetary weapons, but they won't reach into space.
Yeah.
I think if
They have
And there's nothing.
So they have a couple of surface-to-air batteries designed to take out landing craft.
I think if they had the kind of weapons they need to repel the
That can't be
Empire,
automated,
they'd be
can it?
evacuating.
He says if you're able to get a connection to the base, you can remote it, but you can't automate it. But they do have their automated landing systems that they can use to make the Empire go to the hangars that they want them to. have them land their ships and then blow up?
I don't think they'd be that stupid, would they?
He looked at you and go, Imperials? You give them an automated landing directions and they'll just switch the thing over to automated landing. It's what they do.
Really? Even if they're going infiltrating a rebel base?
Depends on how smart they are.
Okay.
His opinion of Imperials is a battle droid would probably have more initiative than they will.
But is his opinion of Imperials reflective of reality Imperials?
It depends.
You have no idea.
If Thrawn's the commander, it won't work. If it's one who actually got in there by influenced by money or whatever, it probably will.
Okay.
If you're fighting the elite of the Empire, it would never work.
But if they're sending out kind of nobody, then they're just going to assume that the reason there's an automated landing function thing is there because the rebels are given up and surrendering to the Imperials and hoping that by showing no resistance they might have mercy taken out of them. Is that kind of the idea?
He more thinks that they're so used to using automatic landing systems that it will be done by default. It's like some people will automatically return a salute if you salute them.
I'll put it this way, if I'm in Army A and I end up in front of Army B and Army B salutes me, I'm not automatically saluting back unless I'm undercover.
Some people are ingrained into it because that's literally what happens in the military is you're trained to do one thing and if someone does it, you respond.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I have zero experience in this kind of
Having done that to actually enlisted people in the past.
Yeah.
It's an automatic thing. Okay, so yes, he does come up with a couple of suggestions for the automatic landing system. One, to make them fly into the side of a mountain, because it's literally not going to take them anywhere else. Another one, to let them land and then basically have the base blow up around them.
I reckon side of the mountain, you're not using up any resources there.
Well, they're going back to the base afterwards,
Yeah.
so
That's true.
that way they get to destroy the base and the ships at the same time. And if they go into the base, they'll probably be a lot more trusting and basically head in without realizing they've just set off a explosive.
So Khaled's helping with the engineering side of this. And is he also helping with the faking life signs? A tactic? Is it a tactic? It would be a tactic, right?
It is a tactic because if they're scanning for
Yeah.
life signs and they detect none, they may not land.
Yeah, okay.
If they're scanning for life signs and detect, say, a couple of hundred,
And this all comes under engineering? Or is it a bit of computing as well? Because I'm really thinking maybe I should get myself some engineering training.
Okay, so what is Khaled's computer and mechanics?
So computing and mechanics?
Mm-hmm. It's actually a dual roll, one of the...
Ah.
When you're doing some of the more advanced stuff, you combine multiple skills and you take the lowest attribute and the lowest skill. Which is also what you do when you dual wield.
How do you do a dual roll?
You take the lowest attribute and
take
the
the
lowest
lowest.
skill.
Okay, cool. Alright.
So what is...
Okay. It's computers.
And how many dice is
Well,
that?
So it's 2 yellow, 1 green.
So you have 3 in intellect?
I've got an intellect of 5.
Okay, because you said 2 yellow and 1 green.
No, it's 2 yellow, 3 green.
Okay.
Okay, so after the roll, I can satisfy equal to ranks of eye of detail. Yep, so I'll also take 2 strain, no, a strain for eye of detail
Mm-hmm.
to convert a number. Oh, actually, no, I won't bother. I don't need advantages. I need successes, correct?
You have 2 successes, 1 advantage, and a triumph.
Okay, cool.
So, you're actually able to detect that the base appears to be fully occupied on the side of the area with the automated landing system.
Yep.
And it's currently putting out the message saying switch the automatic landing procedure to safely enter the base and pick up the next load of refugees.
Yeah.
So they'll think that they're very sneakily, intelligently, and cannily infiltrating the base.
Well-
in actual fact, they're sending themselves to their death.
Pretty much.
Well, the fact that they've wiped out one of our beacons and the only active beacon we've got is on planet.
Well, it is a very devious and, although very deadly and kind of ruthless and brutal tactic, very appropriate to this situation.
A couple of hours after you got this all set up and running and everyone's evacuated the base, there is the you detect an explosion on the planet below. They had literally sent a ground force while they were sending the other distractions
Oh, so there was a force coming from around.
from the other side of the planet.
Right, and we got no way of knowing how many they sent or where they came from, do we? Probably not retrospectively.
It's very hard to protect all around the planet.
Yeah, no, I imagine. It'd be a bit like landing in the middle of Australia and then sending forces over to Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you had ships that could traverse that distance really quickly, if you landed there, it would be very hard to spot them.
The best way to do it is to basically have people at the North and South Pole in orbit scanning in all directions. Or have a series of satellites giving you information from all around the planet.
Mm.
But to do so would mean it was a occupied world.
Yeah. Probably quite obviously so.
And it's very easy to do blind entries if you're doing it unpowered. They may have come in 2 days ago and had been gliding into the planet.
So while all this is happening, we now have 1,200 people left to evacuate.
Okay, so you've got more on the black ice than you really want.
Yep.
You know that you won't actually have the full life support to stop them going squish when you jump to hyperspace.
Right.
That's the main drawback to it.
We're still trying to get them all. We're trying to get as many as we can onto those 2 freighters that we have.
But they are not technically on the planet anymore.
Yeah.
And you've just had the base blow up beneath you.
Yeah.
Because someone tripped the alarm.
So we really need to get these excess people off the black ice so that we can hyper jump the black ice. We also need to work on that tracking problem in our hyperdrive, or figure out how to dump out fuel and move the black ice, which are problems.
Okay, so you do have a report from the engineer that you probably got about a day before everything's fully operational.
Okay.
They've managed to get most of the systems back online, but it's taking a while to get the engines properly started.
So this is day 3. We've got 1,800 off, that means 1,200 left. Which means in another day we might be able to get another 600 off, maybe. Which would leave us with 600. on a ship that, at best, we calculated might accommodate 100 to 150 people. So, although she's not entirely religious, Zaya's muttering prayers to the founder for a miracle of some sort, in the form of something that can take all of these people off, so that we can still keep this fuel. Because we've got a lot of work to do.
You have.
Like, even if we can just keep 2 of these fuel cells, I imagine that would still be a significant amount of fuel and savings. Because there were, I think, 8 or 9 of them, holding a million units each. Yeah, 9 with a million each.
Okay, so technically day 5 was them mounting a ground assault against your planetary base.
So wait a minute, my timing's going slightly out here. I thought it was day 4.
Day 4 was where they blew up to the. So day 3 was where you stopped the. Day 1 was the first flight. Day 2 was the second flight. Day 3 was the communications being taken out. Day 4 was where you evacuated the base and set up the explosives. Day 5 was where it went boom.
Okay, alright. So in effect we only have 500 people to get rid of. We're looking at
Currently you have about 600 to get rid of on the ship.
Yeah.
As long as you downsize that, you should be fine.
If we can get rid of 500, the ship can take 100.
The ship's got plenty. You can literally, as long as the Corellian Corvette shows up, you can take the rest of them.
Alright, so we're still waiting on what they're going to do now that a ground force has been sent, and hoping that that Corvette and the other freighter turn up before that happens.
Okay, so QT gets Garm's attention. He has picked up 2 signatures coming into the system. Both are way bigger than anything else.
Are you assuming there might be Star Destroyers of some sort? Ships?
He says bigger.
Bigger than Star Destroyers? Really?
He believes he has a torpedo sphere heading our way.
The hell is a torpedo sphere?
So think of it as a mini Death Star.
Yeah, bad news.
Designed to basically fire proton torpedoes in rapid succession to crack a planetary shield.
Okay.
Imagine firing enough missiles at something that it completely overwhelms its shields and makes it collapse.
Does this mean, because it's designed to crack a planetary field, that they're still focused on the planet?
So if you see, have a look at that, how there's this big round thing there?
Yes.
That's a torpedo sphere.
Shit.
It's literally a large moon in of itself. So for Ross's perspective, you can see the planet there in a torpedo sphere.
Yeah.
You've heard of them before, Ross?
Yeah, I have.
Not a very common thing in Star Wars for most people.
No.
And
it's poor man's version of a Death Star.
It was the biggest mobile platform at this time.
Considering how expensive a Death Star is, I wouldn't call this necessarily a poor man's version.
So this was why they built the Death Star, because this took too long to break a shield. It would take about a couple of days to break through most planetary shields.
And
plus the amount of bloody torpedoes you end up using is ridiculous.
At the moment, Garm's the one receiving
Mhm.
this info.
The other option is you send in a massive fleet of Star Destroyers and just continually shooting trying to overload the shields.
Oh, no, most Star Destroyers won't be able to overload a shielding system, even if you had a fleet of them. Planetary shields are too difficult for, if it's got a proper planetary shield, like Alderaan, the Imperial fleet would not be able to break through. But the torpedo sphere could. That was the difference between them.
Alright, I'll get on the intercom and let
Okay, and
powers
the
that be
and the lesser
boss?
signature appears to be some form of Star Destroyer, but he doesn't know the configuration. Doesn't match any records he's got.
Okay.
So not an interdiction.
Well, most people haven't seen interdictors yet, Ross.
I thought we have it.
You have seen a gravity well generator that came from
Oh,
an
okay.
interdictor, but you've never seen the interdictor itself.
Oh, okay.
And having encountered the Chimera in the past, would I be able to give enough info to QT-70 to ask him if it's the Chimera?
It is too small, he says.
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Because it means
Smaller
it's
is
not
good.
Thrall.
Okay.
It could. Does the torpedo sphere? How much fighter complements are on a torpedo sphere?
Torpedo Sphere has enough TIE fighters to swarm the entire planet if they wish to.
Yeah.
You're
So
getting.
it won't be a carrier. So it'd probably be some type of.
No, the Torpedo Sphere literally is a ultimate carrier. It can actually carry a full complement of capital ships as well as TIE fighters.
So my question to
It's a mobile starbase.
It looked big.
Mm.
Yeah.
the military minds, including the droid.
And QT says we appear to be getting some message from the other capital ship.
The other capital ship.
Yeah, so it refers to the Torpedo Sphere as a capital ship,
Okay.
and the smaller one is also sending in a message.
Okay, alright.
Not on a frequency they're used to.
Okay. So who's possibly be rebels?
I ask
Or rebel
QT.
sympathizers?
Does it seem to be that it wouldn't be the far orbit, would it?
It doesn't seem to be the far orbit, no.
No, the far orbit's a different kind of ship.
But they are
But-
identifying themselves as the Star Dragon.
Oh. That means something.
They don't know who they are.
I
They're definitely not one of the rebel friends they know of.
no, but they might be one of our friends that we don't know about yet. Or they could be laying a really good trap. Or tarp, as a lot of people say. Why do they say it's a tarp? Is
Because
it
they like to do a lisp with a fish person.
Oh, okay. Alright. I've never understood that joke.
It's just a fishy joke, that's all.
It's a trap.
That's actually funnier than the other one. Alright. What's the message?
Yeah. Basically, they're just identifying that they're the Star Dragon and they wish to talk.
If no one objects, I will answer the call.
Is the powers that be with the rebels happy for us to be discussing anything with these people?
Well, basically, you're being given the evacuation control because, well, High Command doesn't know how to move most of these sort of ships. They're good at doing logistics and planning, but not good at everything else.
So how long is it going to be until our ship, the Black Ice, is ready to?
They're expecting it to be ready in the next couple of hours, but the Torpedo Sphere is expected to be in range in the next couple of hours.
Yeah.
It's going to be close. And the other ship looks like it might be here in around the same sort of time as well.
Okay.
It's looking a bit messy, they say.
Martin,
Yeah.
can I make an underworld roll of any criminal organisations that using that call sign for their ships?
You can. What is your underworld?
Is 3 yellow, 2 green, and 1 blue.
Okay.
I have other suspicions.
And I'll just check to see what street smart.
That most likely gave you the
Yeah,
blue.
that gives me the blue.
other suspicions based on?
Okay, so you can honestly say you've not actually heard the call sign used before. You have suspicions it may be one of the non-aligned groups. You've heard of them having ships referred to as dragons, where they rotate their guns around. So instead of having the guns firing every couple of rounds, the guns are rotating out of shot so that they recover and are fully charged by the time they come back round again, and they can continually volley on things. In one direction, they can almost fire continuously.
Okay.
So they basically just do that.
All around the ship, yeah.
Yeah.
So think of it like a saucer, and they just spin it around.
Yeah.
And they refer to most of those ships as dragons, from his memory.
Nice.
Enough so that they are smaller than a Star Destroyer, but can put out as much firepower as one. One-on-one, they're pretty deadly.
If they're star dragons by name because of their tactical, because of that, the way the guns work, does that mean that
Oh, excuse me.
they're less likely to be associated with Empire Imperials and more likely to be associated with, say, privateers?
Probably there may be a privateer or associated with the supertanker company who built the ship and wants it back.
Yeah.
Well,
So I was going to say, I don't remember the name of this company. I don't think I actually wrote it down.
no, I think
I was just looking for it, but I think it's in one of my other notepads because I didn't have this one with me when I was watching the session.
I'm not sure if I actually spoke the name of the company.
But what I will do is I will approach engineer, I think it's Schloss,
Yeah.
and ask him, give him this information and ask him, could this be his company looking for likewise?
He says they don't have any warships.
Okay, that's
If they had a warship, they wouldn't be able to work for the Empire. They don't like other concerns having warships.
yeah, all my notes for this part of the session are unfortunately in difficult, which does not help me for this one, but
QT7 does say they seem to be trying to get you again.
I before everyone started asking questions, I did say I wanted to answer the call.
Okay.
I am going to.
We really need to get one of those Imperial Prone droid things.
I'll say.
I'm sure the Empire can send you plenty.
So I'll answer with received Star Dragon. I am in need of aid.
Okay, you do get a response with a coded message.
Am I able to decode the message?
You do recognize the code.
Okay. Mandalorian?
It is a Mandalorian code.
uh,
Something the True Strikers have been using.
I was gonna say, is it True Striker code? What is the code? Just basically identifying them.
Identifying them, yes.
So, I will finish.
Unless the Empire has set a trap.
I will finish the rest of the sentence because we certainly are. I will give them. Sorry. I will answer with this is Zane receiving switch to a safe frequency so that we can talk.
Okay, so you do know how to switch over to their encrypted channels.
Yeah, and I don't. Only the True Strikers in my clan know my code name.
And you get Commander Dom on the line.
Long time no see. I'm this close to breaking out into tears and laughing hysterically.
Well, he says you put out a call for assistance. I'm sorry it took them so long, but it had a few unfortunate entanglements.
Absolutely understand that, Captain. I am
Excuse me.
somewhat embarrassed to be needing help, but at the same time, as you know, the mission we're on, because I'm pretty sure he's aware of it, is somewhat in jeopardy. Well, not somewhat, it is in jeopardy. Because when we got onto the black ice, unfortunately the engineer mistook us for pirates and sabotaged his own ship and sent a message to the Empire just as we landed here at the rebel base. We've evacuated all but 600 crew. The 600 are about to go in the next 12 hours. But if we want to save a drop of this fuel, we need help.
I'm just looking up how much a torpedo sphere actually carries.
No, Thorin, you can't drive the torpedo ship.
Okay.
You'd like to drive the torpedo ship. What if we let you fire some of the guns? That's okay. Are you sure, Therion? Yeah, you don't sound so certain about that. Mark always likes playing with his gun. That could be taken so many wrong ways, I'm sorry. But I meant legit gun.
Okay, so the torpedo spear is on size comparison to a Super Star Destroyer. So
To those of us who have no clue.
it's that big thing in the background.
Okay, so which one's the Star Destroyer?
So that's an Imperial Star Destroyer. That bottom one there is a Super Star Destroyer. This big grey thing in the background is a torpedo sphere.
Okay, I think I understand that. Yeah, alright. Yep.
So not a small
Probably
thing.
not an easy one to show on camera.
And then you can do a size comparison to the black ice.
Yeah, no, we don't need to. The black ice is what, 8 kilometers long or something like that?
Yeah, it would be, so the torpedo sphere is about 2,000 meters,
Okay.
so it's about a quarter the size
Oh.
of the black
Yeah.
ice. And they don't actually say they have any actual fighter complement, which is amusing. I was expecting them to actually say, yes, we have this amount of ships on us. But they do have 500 proton torpedo tubes.
Okay,
That's why they can crack a shield.
Yeah.
They fire 500 torpedoes in one barrage.
One volley.
yeah, that's a lot of torpedoes.
That is.
So
Okay, so...
how are they able to work this? Taking people or taking fuel?
Well, they are literally going to drop a couple of flights of starfighters in the system
Nice.
and try to provide you some cover
Right.
and try to hooray the torpedo sphere.
Okay, cool.
They can't guarantee they can slow it down, but they doubt the Empire want you to get away with the ship.
Okay, cool. So
They can take on some of your people,
Yep.
but they wouldn't be able to stay in system for very long.
okay. So if we try to offload as many people as we can to our existing freighters, if they're available.
You still have the 8 freighters.
Yep.
That will give you a lighter load, and they would technically be able to do maybe 1 or 2 transports.
Okay, cool. And then if we hyper jump this somewhere else, we buy ourselves more time to try to get to the fuel.
Yeah.
Some of it, if not all of it.
QT gives various recommendations.
Okay.
His recommendation is basically fly in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be.
We know where a good middle of nowhere is.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be in a star system. Getting to the drift will be very hard from here
Okay. All right.
because you have to navigate multiple jumps. It's not a single jump.
Just in the middle of nowhere is fine. Yeah.
And as you're near the edge of the galaxy, they can literally take you onto the edge of the galaxy.
Yep.
Where there's you have the fuel. You could literally jump between galaxies with this ship.
Yep.
Not many ships can do that.
So yeah. So I think if we can drop the people so that we can get the ship out of there, we'll go to the middle of nowhere, buy ourselves enough time to get some or as much of this fuel as we can, and then at the point where it becomes not feasible to get any fuel, we'll at least get away ourselves before we exploit a lot. Because if we can't have it, nobody can, and in the middle of nowhere, the blast won't kill anyone, right?
That is true. And you do see a sensor system showing that there's hundreds of TIE fighters have been launched from the torpedo sphere.
Okay. Thank you for the assist, Captain. I gather you guys are okay with this plan?
They are suggesting basically they will try to link up with you and fly in the same direction. And that they will definitely need a refuel after the first jump.
Yeah.
They almost run themselves dry getting here.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing that with the other freighters and everything as we go anyway.
If they'd have turned up a few hours later, they would have been empty without having anywhere to go.
Yeah. All right. Let's go with that, because at least that way we get some fuel, if not all the fuel.
Well, they do say that you could literally lead a merry chase for the Empire across the top of the galaxy.
I feel like the song Star Trekking Across the Universe is applicable in this situation, even though it's the wrong world, wrong
Well,
place.
you could basically do 2 or 3 jumps in one direction, change direction, 1 jump there, change direction, 2 or 3 jumps in that direction, and basically have the Empire constantly sending people out to intercept you.
So it's more time warp than Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
And hey, that they will have to send someone to every space you stop, because that might be another rebel
This
base.
feels like fun, actually. Too much like fun. I like this plan. Are you guys happy to trek
Sure.
all over the place?
Okay.
Okay, prepare the Benny Hill music.
Yeah. I like Time Warp better.
And as Commander Dom's ship comes into view, you recognize it as the one that you had found under the ice.
Oh, really? Huh, nice. I'm not going to ask out loud, but I'm thinking, I wonder if any of those Basilisk droids are on that ship still.
And the Mandalorian ships are basically making a mockery of the TIE fighters.
Nice to know.
They are not a one-to-one exchange.
And just to fill Garmin, we were on the same planet where I had the misfortune to roll better than everyone else and spot a secret door and find a certain founder's book, which led me along this path to having 4 sensibilities. We also found a
You're 4
huge-
sensitive?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. No, I'm not telling you that.
Oh.
No. No, I
Not
don't
yet.
tell you anything about the secret hidey hole and the founder's book or sensitivity. That's player talk to
Cool.
Peter.
Yeah.
But I
And
will.
from Gum's perspective, this ship out there shouldn't exist. It it's not on any records.
Uh,
It looks too old to actually be flying.
I'll give Garm the glossier, safer version because if you ever get captured and interrogated, it's better you don't know that it's a very old Mandalorian warship that we found on a distant planet in our adventures in.
Before they met him.
What's that word for what Han Solo and all that do? Smuggling.
Smuggling?
Yeah, in our adventures as smugglers / mercenaries / I'm not quite sure what umbrella we fit under, but any way to make money. Pardon? Some of us, yes, definitely.
Okay,
I
so
wouldn't have counted me among that until more recently.
thanks to some brilliant astrogation options, and basically going to lead the Empire in a merry chase because you have the fuel for it.
I
And-
think a billion tons or something like that of fuel.
And you can literally arrange rendezvous with various rebel cells. So you drop in, give them fuel, you'd all leave before the Empire shows up.
So we drop in, they've got their tanker ships there,
Yep.
pump, fuck off.
Yeah,
Run
we
to the
leave,
next place.
they leave,
Yeah.
and then the Imperials arrive, and they can't. Yeah, everyone's gone in different directions.
Well, there's just a sense of ships were here and they've left. And the amusing thing is the story had assumed you would not have been organized or coordinated enough to get yourself out of the place.
Technically, they're right.
And that you wouldn't have gotten the engineer on site who would have been able to undo a lot of the damage he did. And so the ship wouldn't have been functional until the torpedo sphere was too close to be able to safely leave. That they would have used the torpedo sphere to use the super tanker to ram the torpedo sphere, because you would have been taking out one of 6 of the Empire's torpedo spheres with the super tanker.
That's
It would have been a very expensive loss. The Empire would have been completely messed up by it.
Do we work to convince, and I think this is possibly more in Garm's skill set than anyone else's. Did we convince the engineer to join rather than just help us, but actually join?
So the amusing thing is they give a size scale of how big the torpedo sphere is to the tanker. They make the tanker look tiny in comparison. I think they didn't get their scales right.
No,
Yeah, but they
perspective
can be
is
forgiven.
absolutely off.
Most people would.
So yes, you have successfully completed the Black Ice better than they intended, because you gave yourself options.
So what about our engineer? Did we manage to convince him to make a full time?
Does he want to
Switch
move
to
across
the-
to the?
Well, he can't go back now.
So he wants to be rebel scum.
It's better than pirate scum.
Yeah, that's for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah, we all agree with that.
Yeah.
And so being a rebel means that he has something to work towards.
I'll tell you, there's one
Yep.
pirate scum I dread to hear the accent and voice of.
Ah,
and
Hondo.
That would be Hondo.
Yeah.
No, it'd be Misa Pirate Roberts.
No, Hondo still tops.
It's my
Oh.
friends, my friends. Happy to deal with you.
No, a Gungan pirate is worse than Hondo's accent.
It's all about perspective, my friend. I'm still going with Hondo.
Okay.
Hondo's just a French accent. Bad
Yeah,
French
but
accent.
he's also ridiculous dice. That means that you're
Yeah.
very unlikely to ever win.
He's exceedingly lucky.
Yeah.
Things go against him all the time, and he still survives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Incredible.
That is the.
he's the
Go, Ross.
he's the alien version of Han Solo.
Yeah, but that's
Ex-
not the pun.
Except he went down to the pirate
Or Malcolm
side,
Reynolds.
while
Yeah, Malcolm
Han went down
Reynolds
to
is
more of the
one.
smuggling side.
Although I actually say Malcolm Reynolds actually doesn't come off with the kind of profits Hondo manages.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
So I think Hondo is kind of like the upscaled version of a successful Malcolm Reynolds.
Maybe Malcolm Reynolds just has bad luck.
Yeah.
So
Whereas
no matter how
Well, he is a brown coat.
True.
He always picks
I'm
the
wearing the wrong
underdog.
T-shirt today.
He always picks the underdog.
Yeah.
And so yes, with the help of your engineer and many jumps later, you'll eventually be able to stop the signal going out. And once that happens, the Empire is basically gone. Where'd it go?
Wasted a lot of resources.
And that would probably be maybe close to a month of
God,
jumps.
I'm so tempted to get the thing that puts the signal out, stick it on a smaller ship, and then just pay someone to keep jumping around the system and just keep leading them on America.
You can literally strap it to a engine with automation and just keep sending it on various random jumps.
Yeah, I'd totally invest in that, because the longer you can keep them wasting their resources chasing this fuel ship that they think has still got at least enough fuel to keep
And
chasing.
even funnier, you could send two of them out so there's two signals going and they don't know which is the real one.
Yeah, they might give up at that point.
Oh no, they would be definitely hounding each and every one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's that big a deal.
Okay. Well, in which case, I would definitely invest in that. I do have savings. So
You can technically create two ones because you have two signatures you can literally steal. And they have all the...
one from each end.
Yeah, one from each end.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, let's put it on the record that that's what we do. We've got time, opportunity, and if it needs some finances behind it, I'll even, if you tell me the figure, I'll minus it from my bank account.
Well, you've got the Mandalorian ship there with their crew. You've got the rebels coming and going.
And the
engineer. And between all of them, they can literally keep this thing running indefinitely.
Yeah.
And keep supplying it with food stuff so no one starves.
This is a good outcome.
And the Empire is out more than 1 billion units of fuel because they're still paying for the fuel for everything that has to chase it. And the losses that has occurred. You'll probably cause close to a couple of billion credits worth of damage to the Empire in taking just one ship.
So I feel like this is a very good point in the game for me to say, let's talk about corruption. Now you said something about me having a role at the end of the game. What does that role involve?
Normally
Can I do
involves
that role myself?
rolling a d10. So if you take your brass thing and roll it.
Oh jeez, it's over there. And Cat is happy. Would you mind getting the I keep calling it a compass die because it's the same shape as a compass.
So this is her actual dice. It's a spinner.
It's
And one side has 3 dice and the other
So
side
you
has
said
3 dice.
D10. So that's a percentage.
That is correct. Oh. The idea is most people will do a lot of corrupt things over their session. And
2%.
2?
Or 20%. Yep, so that's that arrow's pointing at the 2. So is that 2%?
It's pointing at the 2. It's you're not looking for a percentage. You're looking for a number out of 10.
It says 2.
So that says it's 2 out of 10.
Yeah. This has just got D10 and then a slash percentage there.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Meaning that you do it twice. One for the 10s and one for the 0s.
So I have to do it again?
No, because you're not doing a percentage.
Oh,
you're just
okay.
doing a 10.
I'm just doing the 10.
Yes.
Alright, 2. So what does that mean?
I'll have to look up all the details for it because I haven't done that for close to 5 years.
I just thought it'd be interesting for people to learn about it because I'm sure I'm not going to be the only corrupt person in this campaign.
I'd have to dig the book up
You
and
have to
do
be
it.
the only corrupt person in this campaign.
It's very hard to get corruption points
Um,
because you generally have to do horrific acts as a non-force user.
Mm.
and
Or
then-
a force user does sort of mild acts in comparison to get the same corruption.
Or hang around with people who do heinous acts.
It's the
other thing was is you usually ask at this point in the game if there's anything players want to add.
Would you like to have planned to do anything for your characters in the month you're flying on the rim?
Yes. Did you want to start?
Is there anything Garm wishes to do while he's flying along the rim?
Is it essentially downtime?
This is essentially downtime, yes.
We can be able to get rid of all of the fuel.
Technically, you don't need to get rid of all of the fuel. As long as it loses the signature, they can move the ship where they need it.
Cool.
So
Alright.
yeah, we
So
just
that
needed
answers
to
my
keep
question.
jumping it
Yep,
long
yep.
enough to figure out how to get the trackers out,
Mhm.
and then send them off elsewhere.
Which they spend a month doing to
Yeah.
just make sure they're
and that's
safe.
where we're getting this downtime. So,
Other than my normal businessy type stuff, not really.
but is
I'm
there
pretty
any
good.
sort of like personal connections or contacts you might want to try and establish? Maybe amongst the crew, you could just make it up,
No,
and it becomes part of the thing. It gives you.
I will. As I've always done, I'll walk amongst the crew and give them a pat on the back and tell them how good a job they're doing. We got away with it, men. Good job.
Yeah, they got away with the impossible. They stole a ship and kept it.
That's it. Good job. Don't
Yeah.
like stories about us, gentlemen and ladies.
Do you want to write some stories?
Not really.
Put them out there.
QT's more than happy to write
Create some
stories.
mythology.
I'm doing the people thing. Just
I am
pat people on the
absolutely
back.
suggesting to QT that he makes up myths about Garm.
He does.
Please don't.
Garm, the Jedi in training.
And unless you actually actively try to stop him.
She just said make up stories about Garm.
Yeah.
You're gonna get me
Okay.
you're gonna get me killed.
Let's clarify this
I
QT17.
thought we were friends,
You can-
boss.
You can.
What the hell? You're trying to get me killed.
I'll say to QT17. All right. Let's clarify this. Anything you make up, make sure that it's not going to cause harm or detriment to Garm. Just a legendary hero. Okay.
The Lothario known as Garm.
Don't use my name. Don't use any of my likenesses. The minute the Empire finds out who I am, half my
Abilities disappear.
yeah.
Yes,
I
you're
think
trying to hide yourself.
QT70 would probably understand that. Is that
Yes,
right?
he would.
Yeah. So I think you've just been teased.
He was. He does have a sense of humour.
What about Khalid?
Is there anything Khalid would wish to do?
You've got an engineer you can get lots of information from.
Or is he going to spend all his downtime trying to help them get the hyperdrive fixed?
I'll probably be getting the hyperdrive fixed. Because I can't tinker with any of my droids because they're not here.
Okay, so what about Thea?
How feasible is it in all of these jumps to have someone who dropped from the castle?
Possible, but you probably wouldn't. You probably have left them back at Elrood because they wouldn't.
Unfeasible is fine.
They wouldn't want to associate the container ship with the Elrood Sector.
Okay, that's fine. If it's unfeasible, it's not a good idea. That's precisely the question I was asking. I will use. So, Captain Dom's ship was following us around, trailing us. I will take an opportunity to jump over to their ship, have conversations with Captain Dom about everything that's happened so far.
So he keeps reminding you he's a commander now.
Commander Dom. I will debrief him on the research base. Is he the one that I will tell about there's somebody that I have to talk to about the Force side of things. Is that usually in the Mandalorian space the armorer?
Normally the armorer
Um,
or the spiritual leader,
is
because
there-
sometimes the armorer is both.
Is there any way to have a discussion with that person?
That person wouldn't have come out on this ship. They would be looking after the main clan,
Okay.
and basically you'd be expecting to catch up with them when you get back.
Well,
They're currently working on the hyperdrive.
Yeah, you're not the official armorer of the clan yet.
No, I'm not.
No, not yet. So what I'll do is I'll put in a request for as soon as it's feasible and possible that I would like to have an in-person meeting with our spiritual leader,
Oh.
the armourer, if possible. Actually, I will very humbly request that it is the top of the line, because I don't think it should
Be delayed too long.
not just delayed. I don't think it should be down lower in the ranks either, considering the ramifications of what I want to discuss with them. The other thing that I'll basically do is every day I'll still be carrying out my training exercises, so that I'm keeping up to date on my martial arts skills, and I will try to, although I understand his work is of great importance, get Khalid into still doing his basic training, making sure that he's not losing his edge in terms of combat, as my responsibility as a leader. Same with all the other members of my clan, because I remember one time you're going, well, have you guys been doing your exercises each day? Have you been practicing? The answer is yes. I've been making them practice.
Which is what leaders do.
Yes, that's right. I have not failed them. If for some reason they doff their armour and then get into a duel and lose, it is purely
Not your fault.
not my fault.
Okay, so you do notice that the effectiveness of the rebel troopers has been increasing steadily as they've been jumping in on the training exercises done by the Mandalorians.
Yeah, they're welcome to. Yeah.
Because what else are you going to do in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
And with 2 ships to practice on.
I'll watch.
And
Cheer him on. Good job, man.
I'm
Good
guessing-
job.
My vision, and correct me if this is wrong, Garm comes in with one of those like full deck chairs each time and a packet of popcorn, or the equivalent of either a beer and a sanger, or popcorn and coffee, whatever combination of food he prefers, and gives us the rah-rah without the pom-poms.
And they've been doing daily jumps to draw the Empire into various places.
Yeah, that's pretty much right, boss.
Yep.
And because of the Empire's always at least half a day out from any place they jump, it's always been difficult for them to catch up, especially if you're ready to go as soon as they arrive. So yes, they arrive in system, and you've just jumped.
Yeah, they get to watch your ass.
And given any spare time, I'll basically assist with whatever area needs.
There
assistance.
is 2 to 3 times a day dealing with various rebellious people coming in for fuel.
I will stand over them and loom menacingly.
Well, they're not really a organized group at this stage, so they've been offering them fuel to work together.
Well,
Is it
normally I
first in,
bring.
best dressed, or is there actually
Though
they'll jump in to say, this is us, and we're requisitioning X amount of fuel, and we've got a list that says yes, X amount of fuel,
and they're giving stuff in return. So most of your food is coming from the ships getting fuel, and parts are being transferred, and it's basically becoming a moving market.
So what I was going to say is normally I'd take Khalid to loom, but he's more important doing the engineering. But since we have a quartermaster who also has charm,
you're not
lots of
signing
charm.
me up for something dangerous.
No,
are
I'm
you,
not
boss?
signing you up. I just take you with me.
You've
Because you
become
can
the center of
You can
trade
track
on the ship.
supplies. You're a quartermaster,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
You can track the supplies.
Yeah.
And if they get too unruly and my looming isn't good enough, you can just charm.
I assumed that I was the guy keeping track of all who's doing what,
Yeah.
when, and where.
Yeah.
And
Giving each rebel unit less than a day to show up,
Yeah.
so they can't accidentally let the Empire know you're coming.
yes.
Yeah. Got to keep tight watch on it. So yeah, I presume
And the Mandalorian
Kyanas,
ships following us
Ashes.
around. Yep. So,
Couple of
we-
close calls along the month, but you do manage to keep out of traps.
And we keep them fully fueled.
Mm.
As I said, I presume all the rest of the players, if they get opportunity, they'll determine what they're doing.
But-
I'm going to use the meeting with the, assuming we ever get to meet, the people coming in to get the fuel. I'm going to make sure that I get to know them and they get to know me.
Well, there's hundreds of sectors of
Yep.
which you're jumping through to
Yep.
start getting presence known. They range from a couple of freighters to multiple ships. The biggest group you meet is when you meet with a couple of capital ships come in system, and you meet what is called the Mon Calamari fleet.
Yes. Nice.
So at this point, we could just invent contact, right?
There's lots
As
of contacts,
long
yes.
as it's within reason.
And most of these people are going, you're bringing food and fuel and gear and stuff, so whatever they're lacking, you have space to carry.
Yeah.
Whatever they got surplus in, you've got space to take.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So-
some of them just keep traveling with you.
Okay. But yeah, I'll horse trade.
Not all sectors are safe.
But I'll horse trade.
Mm.
Not a problem.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, so...
I got all kinds of feats that let me, buy things.
Yeah, well, we know that horses are able to live in space.
So in the end, you end up having about 10 capital ships traveling with the Black Ice. So 10 large ships.
So it sounds like a good opportunity to at least... is it like Shadowrun, where you can kind of come up with a contact that give you some details of the kind of contact you're interested in, and then kind of negotiate with you, as in
Yeah.
making them a permanent...
Ongoing
person?
contact. And you find that they've managed to scrape together a medical frigate.
This is good.
Right.
That's-
And that's basically choosing to go along with the Black Ice, because at least then they could assist anyone who's in need. So a traveling hospital.
Yeah.
Does
Very
this-
much like the Far Orbit, but completely decked out for healthcare.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. We should get the names of all these ships and these people, and their codes, IDs, whatever the thing is, so that if we encounter them later.
It's the sort of thing you may store in a droid that you can flush at a moment's notice.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
my thoughts as well.
QT70 is probably that point at the moment.
Mm.
Question about QT70. Do we keep him on after this? Is his gums bane for...
Well, he's Garm's memory.
Yeah, so...
So Garm can upload all the stuff he doesn't want other people to know into QT.
He was assigned to Garm for the mission, but is he now so attached to the Garm he's like, no, I don't want anyone else. I want to stay here.
Apparently no one else can stand him for more than half a day.
Ah, well, we can
So something about the show tunes he sings.
I'd assume that, over months of being with this guy, I just get used to it.
Yeah.
Well, he basically insults everyone who tries to insult you.
Well, nobody
This could be
except
interesting.
you, really, tries to insult me.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not a big insult person. I'm more of a diplomat, smooth things over type.
Well, most of the time when someone tries to say something disparaging to you, you'll hear QT going, "Ooh, burn."
Technically, since you've been assigned to us, you're a part of our family. So between me and Ash, probably anyone who insults you is literally taking their life into their hands.
I like it.
I'm pretty sure if you get punched with an armored gauntlet, it may well cause concussion, if not worse. Definitely a black eye and maybe a fractured occipital.
Oh, yep. Like
I was wondering if they had the torpedo sphere in there as well, but no, it never made it to the Fantasy Flight
I was
version.
going to say, we're not quite the bad batch, but we definitely stick up for it.
So yes, you have successfully managed to build a ragtag fleet that will potentially be available to support.
Yeah, that's good.
Or at least somewhere you can venture off to for supplies.
So I'll try to nut out a few details of contact, if that's okay, and have it ready for you before next game.
And potentially make visiting once a month.
Because I have ideas that might be, just good from a fun storytelling, role-playing perspective.
And now if the rebels set up a fuel refinery somewhere, they have something they can pick it up and take it places.
I was going to say, Khalid could probably adopt any droid that's on that ship, but, he doesn't have his pit droids or his other droids with him, he might start feeling lonely. There could be...
No, there still is the R1 unit or whatever that's wandering around.
Is it an R1 or an R4?
The big thing that tried to cut us up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With the buzzsaw arm and
the one that you managed to send back to have maintenance.
The P2.
The P2.
Yeah, P2.
So you're gonna go.
Oh yeah, I've also got that one too. I can fiddle around with, but currently I'm.
buzzsaw arm. Yep.
So that is the P2 there. Looks like an astromech, but an oversized
I was
astromech.
gonna say, so you're making nicey nice with the P2.
I can also command, sort of advise them to do things, which actually improves their functionality for a brief time.
And you can see there are discussions about expanding the engine bays on each end to take more habitation areas.
Yeah, that would probably be helpful.
Well, the other thing is, what are they going to do with the empty tanks?
Well, they can use them to store things other than fuel.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they can also do the equivalent of start a refinery somewhere and then have something come by and pick it up once every 6 months and then take it out and continue dropping it around various places.
It'd be a great resource. Yeah, okay, all good.
That way they don't get noticed for having lots of ships coming into the refinery. One ship comes in and one ship leaves.
Yeah.
And no one has to know where it is.
Well done for helping us save the Black Ice.
Especially considering the adventure assumed it was destroyed.
We're working together.
It was all you guys.
I would say as much as we're like it was all you, no it was all you, no it was all you. The actual fact is that without any one of us, we couldn't have done it.
If you hadn't have put the call out for help, you wouldn't have gotten the help that would have made it possible to escape. If you hadn't have managed to arrange things so people work together, you wouldn't have gotten yourself ready in time.
You convinced the chief engineer to believe that we weren't pirates.
And if you hadn't decided to prioritize life support over getting starfighters running, you wouldn't have had the people on the ship to save the base.
Khaled's,
So all of you work together in as optimal way as possible to get yourself off the planet.
yeah, and Khaled was helping with the droids, and
Yeah, the problem with the A-wing that you would have been flying a scrapjet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so basically it would have been worse than a TIE fighter. The first hit we would have just gone up.
Any of the rebel ships are one-shot wonders, really. It doesn't take much to take them out. You have to be lucky to
Okay,
survive.
this one you just have to sneeze at then?
My very hopefully last question before you finish off game is any teasers for what follows Black Ice?
There are lots of possibilities. No, I'm gonna wait until next session.
No false leads?
Oh, always false leads. But hey,
You could start off with a Sirenscape, theme of da 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 da. Or I could play you the one by Snake Charmer, who's done with
I have some ideas,
bagpipes.
but I don't want to spoil it by saying the wrong thing.
Okay, fair enough. I won't pressure you.
Yes.
Just
There's a disturbance in the force.
But on the bright side, you will have better updates for your characters to add. And hopefully by next session I might have some more of the vehicles working.
Yeah, because I know you were updating Force.
Majority of the Force abilities are working. I think I've managed to get 16 out of the 21 working.
Wow. Okay.
Fully. And that's only been working on that for 3 days, so I've managed to get about 5 done a day.
I was going to say, is that only useful to people who have Force things, or is that applicable to other players?
It's applicable to Star Wars and Shadowrun.
Okay, cool. Alright.
Because the Shadowrun people, I have 3 adepts in it.
Okay, cool. So, more applicable to tomorrow.
But useful for this group as well. Especially when the bad people use them too.
Join Shadowrun, it's much like Star Wars. You get a mission, you almost get killed doing it, you hope you earn some money.
And in this case, you earned far more than you were expecting.
Oh, and dragons as well.
Okay, so I'm going to go put it to end credits. And not bad for session 80 to come out with a major win.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for doing the after.
All good.